Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered.
You did not come to college to do marching band. Marching band may be helping pay for you to go to school, but at the end of the day, you're there to study music education.
Unscripted.
Priorities are wrong from the elementary perspective because we're not introducing students to music in an adequate program early enough.
Uncomfortable.
We the blacks, yes, you're gonna be overlooked if you're not producing, if you're not hanging with the cane, if you're not pumping, if you're not blowing, if you're not busting, if you're not entertaining, if you're not on that top level, if you're not in the high stats of visibility, yes, you're going to be overlooked because at the end of the day, we, the blacks, don't care.
Conversation. Alright. The wait is over. The U.S. Bands Adjudicated Battle of the Bands now has 3 new locations added. Sunday, October 9th in Montgomery, Alabama. Sunday, October 16th in Petersburg, Virginia. Saturday, November 5th in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Saturday, November 12th on the campus of Prairie View A&M University. For more information, go to www.usbands.org and we'll see you there.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. We got Quan, BOX. We got Rick eating Brussels sprouts.
Good. Y'all know them Brussels sprouts hit. Don't even act like it.
You have changed me, bro. You have changed me. Grilled Brussels sprouts.
It's good.
Hey, with carrots.
Good
Mrs. Dash. Hey.
And we got Portia. All right, man. It is another week. I am so glad to be back. It's great to see everybody. Man, let's go ahead and do it the right way, man. Anything that happened this week, music, education, band-wise, that you guys feel you all want to share, I'm all ears.
A bunch happened this week, bro, to be honest. Shout out to all our friends and family. I know Portia might speak on this a little, but WGI Finals was this past weekend, and we had a lot of great ensembles participating, a lot of first-time finalists for the color guard side. So, man, I'm really excited about what's happening in the WGI world, man. Like, matter of fact, Portia, I'll get out of your way if you want to jump in.
Just so much talent, so much dope, creative energy that I saw from what I watched. And I'm telling you now, as a coach, I'm stealing. Like, I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, we can try to incorporate that. Like, it was so creative. And so it was a joy for me to watch. I love it. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna tell the girls, y'all need to watch that because we need to pull some of that.
Yeah, Portia, I thought it is incredible now because now they're starting to expand it because a lot of people think that WGI is just color guard.
Right.
WGI is color guard, drumline, and brass ensemble now. So there's a plethora. Julie, I think you need to mute your mic, man. Yeah, he just got smitted anyway. Yeah, I mean, just like a lot of people don't even realize that all those things are included. So for you band directors out there, you want, some positive affirmation for your students, man, and some stuff that's going to actually add to your program instead of a bunch of foolishness. Consider WGR, man. It's a lot of great things happening. The winds part is up and coming. You know, it's still not at the level of the Drumline and the Color Art, but it's getting there fast. A lot of great ensembles out there. So that was big this weekend. Quan, you was about to talk. I had a couple more, but go ahead, bro. I ain't gonna talk the whole show. Go.
No, you good, pimp. So it was a shout out to Darwin Lewis. He's in the Thurgood Marshall Stampede Band. Awesome job. Shout out to Royal. Shout out to all of our colleagues and friends that are still pushing forward with their concert literature.
Yeah.
Concert literature matters, y'all. Shout out to my kids, myself. They've really been pushing. We've taken a positive step back, focusing on technical aspects, focusing on our tone. We're playing, what are we playing? African Sketches, and then we're playing Contempo. And I may mispronounce it, but it's called Ash Cowan Farewell. We're playing those pieces. We're going to be adjudicated at the In and Out Day at Prairie View. And then we have a couple other master clinicians coming in doing some work, including Julian as well. And Rick, you're not busy, bro. Whenever you free and you in H-Town, come through.
Yeah. No, you know I will, dog. You know, this that time of year, man. Like, you know what our hashtag is? Hashtag Crank That Wind Ensemble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody up here talking about all this parade season stuff and all that. And I'm not hating, y'all. I am not hating. I know that's what everybody gonna say. Oh, he a hater, dog. I am not hating. It's just I would like to see a balance from our programs. We can't do marching band 8,000% of the time and sprinkle in a little wind ensemble. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous. But go ahead, Quan.
So this is what I realize as we're gonna be a part of the minority for specific band. I guess I don't want to say aficionados, but band spectators or whatnot, because to do marching band all year, it gets so monotonous after a while to where it's like, where is the push? And what people fail to realize, I've seen my kids get more excited about sitting down and just creating a great like sound, you know, to ensure that the harmonies is right. Like this week we've been discussing how to tune either by synths or and so literally took the Mick Adams and then put the tonal harmony on the projector and was like, hey, you need to be you're playing a minor note. I need you to be plus 16. Yeah. I need you to be plus 11, you know, and really, and they hear the difference. Like we're doing more singing now. They're singing the E flat FAMU warm up. They're singing the B flat, like they're singing their parts. And, you know, using, you know, pedagogy terms like, who's the Michael Jackson right now? Well, y'all are Jackson 5. Y'all need to play the background. Mm-hmm. And just to see these kids grow, you know, in a comfortable setting, because we have to take into consideration, like football games going on the field, they have a sense of anxiety there. And that has already been mastered, you know, at the end of football season. But it's a different type of anxiety when you're sitting on the stage.
But you brought it up already, Quan. Your answer is in the question that you raised. The answer mm-hmm. is you standing in front of them. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. There has been a stigma placed around wind ensemble in certain programs. And let me go on the record right now, because I know once again I'm gonna get called a hater. I'm not talking about schools like Jackson, Southern, you know, schools like that, because they have good wind ensembles. Mm-hmm. They do. Like all you people out there that think I'm a hater, no, I'm not. I respect the hell out of what the Jackson State wind ensemble is doing. I've heard some clips of Jackson State. I'm like, yeah, man, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about those programs. I'm talking about all of you out there that's sitting up there and you got your college wind ensemble playing grade 3 and 4 music. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Obviously, you're not doing your job effectively because you're not recruiting for the wind ensemble. You're recruiting so you can go out there and just blow your damn face off in that marching band. And the fact of the matter is, marching band is only a small part of the music education of these students that's in your program. So that's why I always fight for, man. But, you know, that's like you say, Quan, we're going to continue to be in the minority because I'm not changing my mind because I know what works and what doesn't. You know, so shout out, like you said, Darwin. You know, Darwin, that's my man. I'm going to always give Darwin the credit. I think that brother is talented. I think he has a good vision for his program. You know, He does make bad decisions though, because I saw he just crossed Kappa, so we ain't gonna go
Complete
too
mess.
far, right? But too far. So if y'all sending this to Darwin, if he watching out there, that's my boy. But
Yeah,
other than the fact that he just crossed that mess, we good. But his band is doing well. I had an opportunity to work with his band, man. Those kids can make good sounds, man. So kudos to Darwin. And then also, y'all, with all these UIL performances that just happened, and talking about concert band, tomorrow, everybody out there, check back on the Talk That Talk page, because tomorrow my wind ensemble is going, and our program is insane, y'all. Like, I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Maybe Julian, maybe we can do a broadcast of it on the show, man. That'd be great. But
yeah, as long as I can find a way to get the link in, yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah, I'll send you the link right before the concert, because that's when I'll get it. But tomorrow, y'all, if you want to, like I said, I'm all about putting my money where my mouth is. I don't just come on this show and just talk the talk. You know, I do this job. I take it seriously. You know, I respect it. I respect those that came before me. And so I want to put my money where my mouth is. So you can come critique, we're ready. Tomorrow we're going to do a pretty amazing program. I'm really excited about it. So this was my second year in charge of the UConn Wind Ensemble. And and it's my last year. We are actually in the final steps of going through the hiring process. I was the interim director. So basically what we did this year was we did like a span of music. So we touched jazz, we touched older wind ensemble literature, we touched, like some emotional topics, and we're going to put all that together, but do it with a lot more new material. So tomorrow we're going to start with this piece. It's an awesome piece, y'all. If you've never heard it, like, everybody usually tries to open with like a brass fanfare. So I wanted to do something different. So there's this awesome piece. It's a woodwind fanfare. It's woodwind and percussion. It's called Anti-Fanfare by Blair, Blair. That piece is cool, man. Go check that out. We're going to open with that. Then we go into a wind ensemble favorite. We're going to do Danzone number 2. That's everybody, a lot of people know that piece. We're going to go to this awesome Carter Pan ballad called Hold This Boy and Listen. We're going to end the first half of the program. All right. It's not just 2 or 3 songs. It's a whole program. We're going to end the first half with this piece called Danzo Finale by Ganastra. Ganastera, how you want to pronounce it. But I say Ganastra, but forever. But and then we're going to come back, and we're world premiering a piece. One of our students is in composition, and we're doing a world premiere of his piece. It's called 24-22, and it's a piece that's looking at what's happening in Ukraine right now, which is a subject that I wish more people were talking about. But that's neither here nor there. And then we're going to close with this awesome saxophone quartet and wind ensemble piece called See You Dade. So we're doing 3 movements. So it's a jam-packed concert, y'all. You're going to be there for at least an hour. Sorry. But it's going to be a really good concert. I promise we'll be able to keep your attention. So if you want to see some good wind ensemble music, check back with Talk That Talk tomorrow. I'll make sure we have the live stream link if you want to check it out. So come listen to Wind Ensemble. Crank that Wind Ensemble. Hashtag.
Crank that Wind Ensemble.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Chuck. All right. Man, it seems like a lot was going on. So, shout out to everything that you guys said. Yeah, man, a lot of great things going on in music. And so we just want to keep supporting. And like Rick said, we're going to put that link up whenever he gives it to me. All right, man, let's go ahead and get this thing started, man. Right from the top, let's do it the right way. First of all, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like, daddy, as soon as you come into the room. If you are watching on YouTube, you can smash that like, daddy. If you watching on Facebook, you can smash that like, daddy. So don't wait for it. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network. Turn on notifications. This episode will be on tomorrow, or be up tomorrow, on all of your podcasting networks. Just look for Real Talk That Talk. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So I was cutting clips, as I always do. And when I cut clips, I typically hear things and I honestly get re-exposed to a lot of things, and it brings up more thoughts and more conversations. And also going with the last conversation that Crystal and her panel had really got me thinking a lot. So here we go. One of the things that I noticed, or one of the conversations that we were having previously, Quan said something very interesting about how it's very normal for us to get online and talk about our own people, but then we always talk about protecting the culture, right? So the first question is, why are we not protecting our own? Why are we not protecting our own? All right. So I'm going to actually start it this way. Quan, since you kind of spearheaded that original conversation, I'm going to go ahead and let you start off with this one.
So first and foremost, the brand as a Black culture, I think I've said this several times, I do believe that we deal with post-traumatic slave syndrome. I do. I think that this country still has not repented of its sins for slavery, and we still have remnants of that over and over. If you look at, from redlining to Jim Crow laws, to where honestly many of these laws are still in effect, it's just worded different or it's dressed up and pretty, right? To say that this country has been in existence for so many years, but we're celebrating the first Black female justice is like, to me, that's not a quote unquote win. It's a win because we've achieved it, but that's not a win for the overall status quo for whatever the American dream is supposed to be. Let's just be honest. If you look at how schools are set up in regards to urban areas and low socioeconomic areas, they're quick to turn it to a STEM school, but don't give children the opportunity to be creative. But yet and still, you're not teaching them trades because everybody's not college material. But yet and still, we remove things such as cosmetology, welding, mechanics, so forth and so on, process technician. We remove those. And then we remove band, which could have been thriving at one point for an outlet for students, but we focus on sports. With all that being said, we don't protect ourselves because we still are dealing with the ramifications from that, in my opinion. When it comes to HBCUs and band, we're just going to stick with band. Isn't it funny how our parents, and I could say mine for sure, my mama say whatever goes on in this house stays in this house. And now we will live that code and creed until it comes to social media. Like, it seemed like when social media is like, I'm gonna prove a point by having Twitter fingers or Facebook fingers. I'm gonna prove a point. I look at it now like there's groups such as the Uncut pages and whatnot. The sole purpose is to air dirty laundry for the sole purpose of tearing another person out, regardless of their mistakes or whatever the case may be. But I just look at it like, we not protecting each other. So how can you protect the brand? So that's number one. So we don't protect each other. Number two, we also are givers by nature. If you look at African-American people, we love to eat together, break bread together, so forth and so on. That's what we do. We freely give. And because we've dealt with post-traumatic slave syndrome, I'm going to say something that's just going to be very unpopular. We still, real talk, are trying to please the master in certain instances.
Oh, wow.
That's a new one. But I'm just being honest. So it's like, that's why when we bring up things such as, well, that white mess, because we're reading, it's quote unquote white mess because now we're correlating it with slavery, as if reading music is a step down from who we really are. Take it, we talk about percussion for last week. We do things by oral transmission in African culture, but things get lost. You know what I'm saying? So when you speak about protecting the brand, it's funny how We put things about each other out. When a band director falls from his place of honor, we excoriate them, you know, and we downplay them and so forth and so on. We don't know how to protect ourselves. So when other cultures come and steal, then we get mad. Like, we upset that other cultures, real talk, are playing neck now and doing different things. We get upset and we be like, oh, that's corny. But being honest, other cultures don't allow us to go in their spaces and do the same thing. The Japanese culture is very, very in the Asian community, they focus on them. I just truly believe, as of right now, I believe we're going to get there, but we don't even know how to come together to even agree to disagree, to even protect each other. So when you're talking about protecting a brand, we freely give it too much. We don't protect it. We don't copyright it. So, but everybody wants to monetize from it. And then we allow other cultures to come, steal, and take it. That's just my take, bro.
All right, well, you just preach for us.
Amen.
So, hey, appreciate you, brother. I don't know, Portia, you want to follow that?
What I'm going to say is that we've taken on the characteristics that they put on us. One of the goals to prevent, and I hate to keep going back to slavery, but was to separate us. You can't uprise, you can't overthrow, you can't do anything if I separate y'all. And out of that today, we have a you get yours, I'll get mine mentality. We somewhere along the way, lost our sense of community, our philosophies of it takes a village to raise a child. We don't have any of that anymore. So I don't care about your well-being, and I don't mind diminishing and demeaning you because it doesn't directly impact me, but it does. You throwing our people, whether it's 1, 50, 100, a whole program, a whole business under the bus, is a detriment to all of us, because we can't hold other people accountable for how they treat us if we don't even treat ourselves the way we expect others to treat us. So we don't have a sense of community. We don't have a sense of, I'm going to help you because somebody helped me. Not overall, not in my experience. There are some people that have been awesome in my life, and I'm trying to do the same thing to other people. But the things that I see from our people on the internet are disappointing. Like, I don't know how we ended up here. When I hear my parents talk about how they didn't used to lock their doors, people would show up to their house unannounced for meals. They would take care of each other. They did things as a community. If there was a problem, they addressed it as a community. I think one of the saddest things that I've ever seen is, and this is when it really hit home for me. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a daddy's girl. So me and my dad's football, basketball, all of that. That's our thing. I am a huge sports fan. But for there to be that many Black athletes that play football, and they allowed the NFL to blackball Colin Kaepernick, all they had to do was say they wasn't going to play one game. I bet you they would have fixed it. It's too many bodies. They can't play that game without us. So, they don't mind coming together to get what they want done. They're not going to allow too many of their people to get mistreated before they come together and figure it out. But we allow, he's better than half the quarterbacks that's in the NFL right now. But he doesn't have a job because he took a stand. Now everybody got Black Lives Matter on their helmet. Now everybody has, once it became status quo, but he started this and still can't get a job because I feel like our Black athletes didn't back him. You cannot play, when you look at those rosters, a game without us. So at some point we have to say, and Black people in America spend more money, not always a good thing, than any other race of people, but we don't ever put our money and our actions where, in place.
I agree.
So I'm just going to say, we don't come together for any reason. Bad, good, indifferent. We don't come together, but we are quick to throw somebody else under the bus. Like, I could not believe that those grown men sat on that podcast and called Russell Wilson weak and say he was a cornball and all that other stuff. Why are you worried about his relationship? Why are we doing that on the internet to our people, to a man that is a businessman taking care of his family? Why we care? Why is that the topic of your conversation? We don't have anything better to discuss. We've lost our sense of community. And my brother is my brother, whether I know him or not. I don't see any other race of people on the internet throwing their fellow man under the bus like we do. And don't let it be any money involved. We really gonna throw you under there. But we've lost our sense of community. What I hear my parents and everybody else talk about, I have not experienced for the most part. And I think that's sad. That's something I feel like our generation missed out on. So that's my 2 cents.
Say, just real quick, because I know Rick gonna blow it out the water. I'm gonna say this, and I have an old soul, and I hang around like a lot of older gentlemen and women who have wisdom. And the first thing that they always say is segregation honestly did things worse than what it did better. There were several Black businesses that went under because we kind of wanted to sit at the table, not realizing that we didn't need the approval of their table. We could have made our own table. That's why I appreciate Rick, that's truly making real talk, real Black history. And he needs his credit where it's credit to him and Eric Prince for starting the USA bands
I agree.
to be adjudicated by, because you don't have to change your style. The reality of it is the UIL process is super subjective to a preference of people that are judging you. Think about this. They're judging something that they have no idea what they're looking at. Isn't that being Black in America? And so we now have a system. So that's why those 3 different locations needs to be flooded with people that look like us and the people that stand with us that support the arts of bandsmen and band pageantry overall, not just a particular style. What I do appreciate is that when it was in PV, there were cohort style schools that did their thing. There were show style schools that did their thing. But at the end of the day, the adjudication process was fair and across the board. And no director had a complaint about it because it was fair. That's the true American dream. Not, okay, well, I really don't know what I'm seeing, but I don't like it, and I don't like the style of it. I don't like the sound of it. I remember Julian brought this up one day. He said, why is the status quo or standard for playing for like with Black music, we got to play like Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson, like somebody that's a Black crossover person. Like we got to do that for them to understand what music we actually play instead of playing something that is culturally relevant to the students. Man, we could talk about this all day, but go ahead, Rick.
Go ahead, Rick. You got it, bro.
So you and Portia touched on a couple of things. So I just want to I want to jump a little. First thing I'm gonna say is I disagree. I think we do a great job of protecting some things. When we got up here, we made a statement about mass band. People attacked our character. People attacked our love of our own people. People attacked our credentials. Overnight, Portia, I became a 4th trumpet player. And these people don't know me from Adam. But because they were protecting what they love, they thought that was, legitimate. And, as a American, they got the right to do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? That's our inalienable rights as Americans. But that don't make it true. So I think the question is a little misleading. I think people defend what they want to defend. I don't see nobody up here bumping for Livingstone. But every time we say the word Southern out our mouth, we got people in the comments telling us we hate us, telling us we don't know what the hell we talking about, telling us that this 10, 15 years that I've been in school don't mean shit. I'm just some hating ass dude that don't know nothing. Never mind the fact that I've been in an HBCU band for over 20 years, Portia. Never mind that. Or Quan, forget that. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're a hater. Yeah. So I think that the question can be slightly misleading because people bump for what they want to bump for. I think the problem is, where the question is relevant is that why not bump for everything the same way you bump for just the things you are passionate about? And the thing about it is this: the stuff that we talk about on this show, and I'm not talking about all, because for some reason it gets lumps everybody in. I'm not talking about all people, but there are a lot of people that don't know a lot of this stuff that we're talking about. When we get up here and we talk about the HBCU band consortium side, where it was not just the performances, but the actual clinics themselves, trying to make band programs better. A lot of people don't even know that's happening. They just know that their favorite bands are coming together and playing a couple of songs together and going home. You know what I'm saying? I wish the kids took it more serious. I was in the lobby and I'm seeing like students. Porsche, I flew in. My flight kept getting pushed back and back and back. And the rental car, it took me 2 hours to get there. I didn't get to the hotel until 4:00 in the morning. And when I got there at 4:00 in the morning, there were still students downstairs, like spitting that water, trying to holler at each other. I'm like, is that what you're here for? Now, granted, we did the same thing when I was in school. I ain't gonna sit around line. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of little fine things from North Carolina A&T and Morgan over there. But anyway, but I knew what I was there for. And then it was even more relevant because the year I went, we played Dr. Sanford's music. So it's like, okay, I didn't even know Dr. Sanford wrote jazz band music at the time. Then that was before I even started doing my research and realizing that Doc studied with Thad Jones, who is, my opinion, is the greatest big band writer of all time. So I think what we have here, y'all, going to now what y'all were addressing. Let's go to Quan first. That you talked about that slave mentality and stuff like that. We can never forget there was always house Negroes. There was always somebody that was against what everybody else was for. You know, I think it's unfortunate in today's society, for instance, I'm just using this as an example. They're like, when you see like black Republicans, for instance, the first thing people want to call them is Uncle Toms and stuff like that. I don't agree with that. I don't like using that terminology anyway. But like you said, Portia, jumping to what you said, we can't even agree to disagree anymore with our own people. We've gotten to a point now, y'all, where people take disagreement as a personal attack. Like we're at a point now in history, y'all, and we're, this show is about band, but we just need to talk about being black people. We're at a point now in the history of our culture
remember that the show, as I said at the beginning of the show, we talk about everything, music education, and more. So you right on time. Keep going.
Yeah. I think we're at a point in our history as black people where the reason why all these things that you and Portia said are relevant is because we don't have a linear vision for our people. We fall like I did, Quan. That's how what you were talking about with the history of desegregation in the country. That was how I started the doctoral program. I was initially going to write about the effects of desegregation on HBCU band programs. That was what my paper was going to be about. And I changed it because I wanted to actually be able to get a job, which ties right back into what you're saying. Because as soon as you start talking about other band programs and things that's happened, we're going to hate on you. Oh, no, you can't get a job here. No. And then we already talked about this on the show too. Oh, man, if you ain't go to this school, like if you're not an alumnus of this school, you can't do the job. You know, I'm like, it's just so many things out there, y'all, that we fall into that are directly related to just things of being black people. So I think at the end of the day, we can have these conversations as much as we want until we come up with some type of linear vision for what the direction of our people is. And it doesn't have to be every single person agreeing, just we can agree that these are the things that are in the best interest of black people. And that may be impossible. You know, like it may be impossible. You know, so a lot of people think they know what's best for us. But all I'll end here is just, Portia, from what you were saying to Quan, to what you were saying, these issues are so much larger than music. And I think that to assume that we can address them through music is a mistake. And then going back to what I said earlier, I think that people do bump for protecting what they in particular deem to be important. So,
But I'm gonna just. But if we're learners, just you don't have to be a formal, educated person to understand this comment. Like, but we don't see other people talking about they people like that. Like, you've never seen, like, all jokes aside, bro. And I think, and I'm gonna just have to say this. For years being in Louisiana, if something really happened at Southern, band wise, you never heard about it. You never heard about it. If it was some type of mess or anything went on, allegation, whatever it may be, you never heard about it. However, now it's already posted in some pages and screenshotted before you even get out of band practice.
but you're not speaking about. That's not about loyalty. That's about social media. Like that's an aspect, y'all, that we're never going to be able to get rid of.
No. But what I'm saying was, it wasn't even people like. Okay, take social media out of it. Like, but people didn't even talk about what was going on.
But what I'm saying, but I think you missed what I'm saying, bro. And I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to say, and let me be very clear here, is that if social media was around in the 1980s, with some of the stories I didn't heard that they come out of Southern from some of the people I know that went there in the 80s, 90s, 2000, trust me, that shit would have been on social media. It's a lot of things that happen. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite stories of all time was the Dr. Greg story about the cup of water. Julie, I'm sure you remember that story. Like we were told the cup of water story, and it was nobody is bigger than the band. And I think that ties into what you're saying, going, nobody is bigger than the band. You can be the best musician that ever graced Southern University. You ain't bigger than the jukebox. And I think it's a mistake, Quan, to assume that because it didn't happen 20, 30 years ago, that it wouldn't have happened if those kids had the same resources that these kids had. I didn't get my first cell phone to my junior year.
So let me ask you, so not to cut you off, but let me ask you this question. And because you're more deeper in this world than I. From my perspective and my optics, I don't see, and I know they do it behind closed doors, but not on a wide scale media platform. Do you feel that the Blue Coats would downplay the Blue Devils, or and I mean in a derogatory manner? Would they basically shit talk about them?
In 2003,
right,
the Blue Devils were riding around the country, and this is a true story. They were riding around the country in the front window of their bus. And I got a bunch of friends that were in Blue Devils, so I don't mind telling this story. They probably corroborated. In the front window of their horn bus, they had put duct tape on the window to say FTC squared. FTC and a small 2. FTC squared means fuck the cadets and fuck the Cavaliers.
Oh.
They had that in their window the whole summer. When The Rock did that drum corps show a couple of years ago, it was the Blue Devils and Blue Coats were like the main focus of that television show. One of their members on camera, we walked past. Everybody know I taught Blue Coats for 8 years. We walked past, and one of the members on the show was like, I don't like them dudes. Like, that competitive inertia is there, man. The difference is it's not to a point where I hate you because you're a part of the other organization. There are people, Quan, and Julian argues with me all the time, but I'm going to stand by this. Portia, I hope you back me up. Maybe you disagree too. I know one person in particular. I ain't going to put his name out on the air. He hates with every fabric of his being Hampton University. He cannot stand that band. And that rivalry from some of them old Norfolk people is there. I hate you. Like, it's just there. I never had that animosity towards Hampton because, shit, this talk, that talk. They were never better than us. So why the hell would I have that type of animosity towards them? We was putting foots in them every year, except for maybe the Tubas. That was it. Every year for like 10 years that I was associated with the Legion, because my freshman year was 2000. My last year in the graduate program was 2009. I was the graduate assistant. We not once took a L from Hampton. Not once. So Like the only band that I ever remember the Legion catching an L from was A&T. And we actually was saying, I remember in 08, I wasn't even affiliated with the band in 08. Portia, I think you were around. Everybody was like, dog, A&T gave us the business. Were we going around dick riding A&T? No. But the respect was there. Like, they got us. We came in there slipping, and they got us. So
and then 09, they went down there and put
foot. Yes,
okay?
sir.
So it is what it is. That's healthy energy. But I don't hate no program, especially to your point, Rick. At the time, I'm not saying now, that was not even close to what we were doing. Like,
right.
I'm not giving out that kind of energy. So yeah, I don't know what we got to the point where, and we've said this on here before. I was in the Legion, I worked for the Legion, but I like so many other band programs. I mean, I have a favorite dance line. I like, different parts of bands and different stuff. I like good bands. So I'm not going to sit down and be like, oh, well, I can't appreciate anybody else because I work for Norfolk State. No, that's absolutely crazy. Like, support is support. If it's good, support it. That doesn't make you any less loyal. It doesn't make you, I mean, I can't like anybody else because I'm on the payroll at Norfolk State. That's crazy. There is, like we just said, when I was watching the Color Guards this weekend, it's so much that I can learn from these other groups. Why am I hating on them? I'm not going to copy them, but there's creative things that I can pick up and carry on. Why do we have to hate one another? Why can't we support what you're doing if it's good?
But and then the other part of that is this, going back to there was always house Negroes during slavery. One of the biggest obstacles that we have is not that people aren't educated on what we do. They don't have an appreciation for what we do.
I agree.
Like, they know what the hell is going on. Like, we talk on the show all the time on this show about how Houston was throwing PV and Texas Southern graduates resumes and applications in the garbage can. The director of music for Houston was a black man for many years. He was black. He know exactly what we brought to the table. We met with that man many times. I ain't gonna put his name out there. Y'all can go do, that's what the internet for. He was black. So at the end of the day, Portia, everybody, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That term is so true. But on the other hand, if you giving a college degree to somebody like Quan, and then you giving that same exact college degree to a person that can barely blow their fucking nose, better yet, teach somebody's students or play their instrument, then you gotta weigh the two against each other. I got Quan, who's a good band director, but I got Jack, Vanessa, Teddy, Steve, whoever, 5-6 people that came in and were not good. You know what I'm saying? I can hold that up. I mean, I'm sorry. When Jerry Junkin signs off on somebody from UT, they get the goddamn on job. That ain't no question about it. You get your doctorate from UT, you're going to be at somebody's college that following semester. That's the cachet we have to start putting out into these school systems. We have to graduate qualified people that know what's going on. They have to be going to conferences. They have to be on their horn still. They have to be doing all these things to get better. They can't graduate and say, okay, I'm about to have my band cranking it up. Winter, fall, spring, summer, every season all. And then when it's time to do winter ensemble, they're in there playing Tall Cedars or Hot Cross Buns with a high school band. Like that's unacceptable. And that's not the white man discriminating. That's you not being good enough. And we have to be able to call both of those things out. Go ahead, bro.
No, but that's why that's why it's crazy, because that same particular person that you're speaking about, I had to have conversations with him myself to honestly alter his mentality. Because sometimes, like you say, all kinfolk ain't skinfolk. Well, sometimes when you're submerged around a particular culture of people, Black folks is the most adaptable humans on the earth. We adapt to wherever. We can go to China, real talk, and mess around and know how to fry egg rolls in 2 minutes. Like, that's just who we are. But I mean, that's just being honest. And then we'll mess around, be cooking gumbo in China. You know what I'm saying? Some of us. But the reality of it is, like Rick is saying, some of these district fine arts people have experienced, unfortunately, bad teaching, and then they assume, well, all of them like that. Isn't that crazy? Again, that's like that prejudice mentality. I mean, it's 6 of them that came out there. I mean, not to cut off the 7th, but the 7th has to prove that he's better than the 6th.
But Quan, let me expound on that though, because I think you're bringing up a very good point right now. Here's the flip side of that. Let's give all context, right? Because our students graduate from HBCU bands and they don't get that core style or that military band style experience from those schools, they're only qualified to go to one type of band. And I mean, I hate saying this out loud, man, because it sounds so bad, but it's just the truth. There are a lot of good HBCU style high schools out there. There just are. But there are an even larger number of programs that are always in rebuilding phase. You know this, Quan, you went to this type of program. Always in rebuilding phase, never have the budget to be successful. The kids are dealing with financial and all other types of situations at home. You're dealt this hand before you even walk in the damn door. And these are the bands that our students go to. I guarantee you, if you send a PV kid to the Woodlands, and then you send a PV kid to one of them sci-fair schools, and then another, and that started happening, then the reputation of PV or in these other big schools would get better. But if you're only sending these kids to a program where they always got to rebuild, and Julian, this is a conversation Julian and I had. He had applied for a job, and they hired a kid straight out of college. Kid barely blow his nose. I'm sure he couldn't teach at the level of most of us. But because he had the right degree on his certificate, that means he's slated for this type of band. That kid went to whatever school, and then our kids fall in that trap too. That's the only bands they try to apply for. If I lived in Texas, man, I'd apply for every goddamn band that came open. They can only say no. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the other part of it, bro, is we always get pigeonholed into these certain type of programs. So there's a lot. This is a multifaceted conversation, and it's already lasted 40 minutes, about 30 minutes. So
I'll end with this break.
I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, part of what you just said, and this is a different conversation for a different kind of day, is part of that is too, we don't even place stock in our own HBCUs anymore. To Rick's point, we're trying to go other
I agree.
and not promoting and sending ourselves to the institutions that were at one time the only place they started because they wouldn't even take us. And now we have put them in a place to be superior to our own universities. But I digress.
So what everybody's saying is absolutely correct. And then it goes back to like what you were saying, Rick, in regards to that rebuilding aspect. But why is it rebuilding? It's because when it comes to music education, they taking it out to schools early. And it's almost like a 10-year cycle. Like real talk. It's kind of like there was a video, I end with this. There was a video a few years back where this guy said, everybody stand at the line. Okay, if you have both parents, take a few steps forward. If you had, if your daddy got 2 jobs or whatever the case, take stuff forward. And it was like such of a large gap, of a life gap that individuals had from color, from Caucasian people or white people, or just the average minorities, period. It's the same thing they do with us in education. It's like you'll put a principal at a particular school that was an F school, they'll bring it up to an A. That person will transition out, then that school will go back down because they'll remove that whole administration from doing well. And then it's like another 10-year cycle. If you look at urban schools, it always happens in ebbs and flows. And a lot of the times, by that time, go ahead, bro.
But I think that's part of it, Quan. I think you're absolutely right. And I didn't want to cut you off, bro. Mm-hmm. I think you're absolutely right. But I want to look at it from this standpoint, too. Alfred Watkins ain't teaching at Yates High School. You know what I'm saying? Ralph Hardiman, one of the most legendary drum instructors of all time, who's African American, wasn't teaching at one of our schools. They were teaching at these larger programs, and it just popped up so that Scar had said something about his dad told him not to go to NSU. Yes, that happens, but guess what? My degree says NSU on it. My master's degree says NSU on it. And that NSU degree got me teaching Blue Coats, got me teaching cadets, got me teaching at Prairie View A&M, got me teaching at UConn. I got that same thing. And for all those haters out there that didn't
I
like
have
it,
to interject right
hold on, let me finish because
Go
I
ahead.
know exactly where you're going. And for all those haters out there who can't stand to see that type of stuff, tough. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I did other things other than going to those schools, but drum corps is not going to get me a job as far as being able to be qualified for a job. You have to have a college degree to be able to get that job. And my college degree says twice Norfolk State University. So, yeah, all those experiences are important, but I am a proud HBCU graduate, and in particular from Norfolk State University. I will always contribute back to my school. Yeah, me and Julian, and you could talk about this because I don't know where you're going, but yeah, me and Julian, we talk about this all the time. We both got, graduate degrees from predominantly white institutions. It's a completely different experience. And I think there's other reasons that tie into it that we've discussed on the show before. But at the end of the day, you ain't going to take the HBCU out of me. That's who I am, and I rep it proudly. So it is what it is. Go ahead, Ju.
I was really going to say this. Like, you're absolutely right in everything that you said, but there is still that drum corps experience because you build relationships, you make connections, you learn. Let's be honest, you learn more at the drum corps than you learn in the Spartan Legion.
Ass band. I'm gonna say it. Ass band. Learn more from drum corps than ass band.
But I disagree with you, and the only reason I disagree with you from the standpoint of the experience is because every single job, not every single gig, like side gigs and stuff like that, every single job I had in my whole life was because of somebody an experience from Norfolk State. My very first teaching job was with That's John Boyd. Right, exactly. You my best friend. You already know. My very first teaching job was at Princess Anne High School with John Boyd. John Boyd knew me from Norfolk State, and then he saw me in drum corps and was like, "Dang, that's that same dude." My job at Waters was because of my chapter bro for Omega. Rest in peace, Moby Dick, Bill Gibson, a Portsmouth legend. If you from Portsmouth before me, like my generation, like 90s, 80s, you know who Bill Gibson is. He's a legend, and he taught at Norfolk State for a while. He taught tuba. My job here at UConn, I got this job because of recommendations from Dr. Sanford and Dr. Zachary. None of that stuff came from that drum corps experience. Now, what the drum corps experience did do was prepare me to be in every single type of experience. I got the HBCU style, so I knew I could teach at any HBCU in the country. But then the other side is there too. I don't just have to apply to an HBCU. I can apply to said BOA high school. I can apply to all these schools because now I have the necessary requisites to be able to do this job at any level. That's what, in my opinion, Julian, the drum corps experience did.
I got one question for you, and I'm sorry, but I have to ask this question. My question is this: so, do you recommend that as you graduate, if for any HBCU student that is a current music major, do you recommend them have some form of drum corps so that they could be more marketable? Because I do believe with all my heart, the Norfolk teachings and tutelage and attitude and the person who you are, like kind of like push you to become the best, like, like shape you as a young man to the person you are now, and just having that heart and drive. But do you recommend, and would you agree that also like you said, your Blue Coats experience also open up another avenue that maybe just Norfolk wouldn't have been afforded you?
But I sort of already answered it in a way, right? Like my Blue Coats experience opened the Mandarin's door for me. I wouldn't be the Mandarin's brass caption head if it wasn't for Blue Coats and those 8 years I spent there and the 2 years I spent teaching cadets. Like that's what that opened the door for. To answer your question, hell no. I don't recommend that all HBCU kids try to march drum corps because it's expensive as fuck. Sorry, like drum corps costs at least $4,000 just for the tuition. Then you talking about traveling all across the country and doing all these other things. It can easily come close to $10,000 trying to march drum corps for 1 year. I think it's a beautiful experience for anybody that does it. But what I do recommend, Quan, is that people need to get the hell off of their own campus. The one thing we used to do when we were at Norfolk State, me and Julian both, we gigged everywhere. Everywhere. We were in Right On Band. We were doing this, that. We were doing whatever came up. My first teaching job was at a core style school. Like it was at a high school.
Park.
Right. I worked at Hershey Park playing trumpet.
I was supposed to get that gig.
Right.
Smith's daddy.
Right. Like all these things, Quan, are just as beneficial as spending 3 months in an organization. Like I think that's a misnomer. I think that when people see black people in core style bands, they automatically assume that all of them march drum corps. And I'm not saying this is you.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Does it open doors? Yes. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it doesn't. Of course it does, especially if you have the right type of experience. Because the same bigotry we're talking about with how some of our people treat our programs, the same thing happens in drum corps. You tell somebody you march Pioneer, somebody going to look at you like, oh, okay.
But what's crazy is it? But what's crazy is this, and I'll be quiet. From my syllogism and my experience, they'll still take that person from Pioneer that might have been trash because it says Pioneers instead of a person like me that says Marching Storm. Because
I disagree. I think they'll take that person because their degree says UT and Pioneer, and yours says Marching Storm and no drum corps. I think that's where it comes from, and that's Julian. As you can see, I somewhat agree with you now from that conversation we had a long time ago that turned into an argument.
Finally.
but the only reason why I said that, bro, is because and I have to say this. In the city of Houston, he's not the only one, but as of recent years, Eric Jimenez has opened up a lot of doors for Prairie View people. Real talk. And I say that because every school that he's been to, regardless if it's urban, low socioeconomic, whatever the demographics was, he's touched that program and built it up.
But that's because he's a good teacher. That has nothing to do with his HBCU affiliation. But it's the same thing. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is, I agree. It has nothing that like if you're gonna build a program, and even if you don't know and you're willing to learn, like that's your character. But what I'm saying is because he came from an HBCU before, he got his master's from Lamar and whatnot like that. What I'm saying is people saw him and was like, if they can produce students like him, all of them can't be bad because I'm telling you what directors told me. Like,
I think the part you're also leaving out is what Eric did to get to where he is. Right. People don't know his story. Eric, man, if he had the opportunity to get in somebody's band room, he was in there. That man traveled and he did the work outside of his HBCU experience to get in the doors. That's the beautiful thing about America. I know people don't like talking about this, but that opportunity is out there for every last one of us. Get up off your ass and go do the work to be great. The same stuff you doing, Quan. You made a goal for yourself. I want to be considered among the greats like Alfred Watkins and Julian White and all these others. I want to be at the collegiate level. So I'm going to pick Rick Brain. I'm going to pick this person Brain. I'm going to have an hour-long conversation with these brothers at TMEA like you do every single time we go. Like, that's the commitment. There are a lot of people, Quan, that will sit in their band room and complain about why their situations aren't getting better, and they aren't out here doing anything to improve it. The stuff is out. The information is out there. You have to be willing to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to get better. I do it all the time. When I go into a situation sometimes, Quan, when I like H. Bob Reynolds and meeting these like giants and Mallory, Green, all these giants in our field. The first time I met Mr. Watkins, I couldn't even put a sentence together. Because this was like somebody that I've been watching since I was in high school. When he was the first black man to win a BOA championship, that shit stuck with me, Quan, like glue. Like I will never forget that. And so when I met him for the first time, which was only a few years ago, I was like, man, I cannot believe that I'm in the same room. That is not a drum corps experience. That is a recognition of greatness. When I was under the baton of Frederick Fennell right before he died, that was greatness. And now, being someone in that lineage, at the end of the day, the information is out there. Success is out there. You just have to put yourself in a position to know what you want to do and how to be successful, and get your ass out there and find it and do the work. This job it's a job. Being a band director is not easy, and you need to do, or what they say, show your work.
Yeah,
it's time to show it.
So like I said,
final thoughts.
Yeah, most definitely. So because y'all kind of like my big brothers, of course, I yield a lot of things to y'all and y'all experience. But what I know, like I say, I've spoke to several fine arts directors around the city of Houston and then the surrounding areas. I'm telling you what their impressions. When you sit in an interview and a fine arts person who's hiring people has the audacity to say, I don't know if it's TSU or PV, but I was told that y'all don't have, decent music programs. Like, that is so it's unprofessional, and and I'm just looking at the comments on the side. It's what some of us have experienced, and I do agree with you. Like, you got to take that lick on the chin, because we know for a fact, and me personally, as a proud HBCU graduate, I carry my university on my back, because what I do, they think that that's what we all do, and that's why I say I got to give credit to Eric Jimenez, Timothy Richardson, Justin McLean, Balaji, Christopher Mosley, who's had sweepstakes. Honestly, I think his last 5-6 years teaching. Shout out to Royal. They made 2s this year, but he had 1s at UIL last year. Like, these are the people that's like, I know what the stigma is, but we're going to change it for ourselves. Remember, it's only 2 large HBCU band programs in the state of Texas that gets that type of media. It's Prairie View and TSU. And if they're not pushing out more certified, competent, adequate educators, then honestly, our counterparts, we're not going to have those opportunities to get to the Woodlands and those other schools from BOA, because the first thing they're going to do is search online and be like, bro, you're not even certified.
But you just took the words out of my mouth. Time to start putting more concert band clips up instead of just blaring marching band videos. If you want those people that we're talking about respect, put a good clip of you playing the Nelly Bell up with the correct style and everything. It'll get people's attention.
Most definitely.
All right. That one went extremely longer than what I thought it was going to, but it's all good, man. Because y'all know I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and rock and
I'm
really,
telling you right now, we ain't gonna do no 4-hour show tonight. Y'all tight.
Well, we probably gonna do a 3.5 hour, because this next topic is probably gonna go there too. But let's go ahead and let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like daddy, man. That last conversation we had was nuts. So I know y'all were appreciating it. So go ahead and smash that like daddy for it. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcasts and networks. Just make sure you type in Real Talk That Talk.
Can you please put a hashtag right down there by the Passioneers Network? Can you please put hashtag crank that march that went ensemble? Please. It's that time of year. Crank that win ensemble. F all that doggone parade season. It's time for win ensemble. But go ahead.
Well, parade season over, but I've been seeing a lot of Battle of the Bands lately. So
spring band camp about to happen. Let's not act like that ain't about to go. Here we go.
We know. All right, man. We're actually gonna stay on the same train. One before I put this one out here, shout out to our sister Crystal. Her conversation on her last show really brought this to my attention, and I wanted to bring it on the show today. So here it is: women in leadership within HBCU bands.
Smiths, I bought this up like a month and a half ago. But go ahead.
You did, bro.
You did. I'm not gonna say that you didn't, but
it was credit.
I'm giving him credit, but at the same time, I listened to Crystal and them's conversation, and it got so much deeper than what I really thought that it was gonna get. That I think that we do need to bring it up. So, my brother, you were right. Now, since you were right, I'm gonna let Portia go ahead and take it first.
I don't want to mansplain, so you got it, Crystal. I'm just gonna give my opinion. Go ahead.
It's definitely a disparity there. When you think about the number of women that are we're one of the most educated groups in the country. You know, Black women. There have been so many reports about how many Black women are getting education, getting master's degrees, and I know the level of musicianship from when I was in the band. I mean, some of the greats that were produced just during my time at Norfolk State before us, the talent level, the skills that these people have, and what you see as far as directors is not proportionate to the amount of women that are graduating with education degrees who have the talent, who have the skill level. And, you know, we're trying to, you know, we like Quan said earlier, we just had in the year 2022 have our first Black Supreme Court justice. That's a woman. That's crazy. But I mean, it's still showing in the area of band and women in HBCU band, leading HBCU band programs. It's not that many. I don't think I need more than my two hands. And I just don't think that reflects the amount of talent, the level of skill that we have. And so the thought process is still to this day in 2022 that, you know, this is a man's position. And I don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. And it needs to be addressed, because are we not reaching our full potential at some of these universities because we're trying to put a man in the seat instead of pulling the most qualified person in the seat? So I think we sometimes shoot ourselves in the foot trying to fit a mold when the mold might not have been working. So maybe we need to try something different, but there are qualified. If we're going qualifications, there are plenty of qualified women that should be given opportunities, but they're not. And it's absolutely disgraceful at this point. But that's my 2 cents, is that we're putting bodies in the seat based on a certain expectation that is not accurate. It is not proportionate to the amount of women educators that we have, and it's a disservice to our programs.
I'm gonna go a little deeper. Let me ask you this question, and this is for everybody. How many female drum majors has FAMU had? How many female drum majors has Bethune had? How many female drum majors has Norfolk had?
We should have had one.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Please, no, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna
know
talk
that story. We ain't.
No.
Hey, I'm coming to homecoming. I'm just saying.
Hey, you go ahead, because when it's my goal, I'm talking about it. So you go ahead.
I'm going to y'all homecoming.
Please come, because I'm gonna talk about it. But Portia, I need your help too, because I'm gonna talk about that shit.
So I'm looking at all aspects of leadership.
I need my pistol.
No, you ain't gonna need.
No, you ain't gonna need your pistol. It's gonna be all love, but I'm gonna speak this real as soon as my go.
To Julian's point, then it is proportionate to the fact that we aren't still letting qualified female students be in leadership positions or the top leadership positions in band. Because if you think about the number of female drum majors, that's disproportionate too. So, and Norfolk should have had one. What was that? 2007 or what year was that? 2007.
I think it was 2007, because I think that was that first year that Cofield became drum major, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was clearly the best candidate. We was all standing there looking at it, clear as day. But that goes back to that mindset that this should be a man, or it should be this. And not trying, no disrespect to my rookie brother Cofield, but there was a better qualified person than he was. And we were a good band that year, but where could we have been had we had the qualified individual as the drum major?
I love Crystal, I swear.
All right. I'm gonna say Rick. Quan, go ahead.
I mean, so I know this is gonna sound like corny or whatever, But I got a phone call from Dr. Roebuck this week, speaking about auditions and whatnot, and I got excited because this is just where I'm at in my life. I'm secure with my masculinity. If you better, you better. That's just what it is, bro. Like, I look at, I think from an East Coast perspective, Crystal, A Diary of a Lady Band Director, was the first people that I reached out on how to arrange, because she honestly developed a group on arranging that a lot of people took from her, that idea from her, and sharing arrangements and on how to improve it. A hell of a writer, bro. And real talk, like what she's done with her band. And honestly, if other universities would be playing her music, she would be honestly a GOAT as quote unquote as arrangers. Like, she would be honestly labeled with your Hamers, your Knightons, so forth and so on. She would. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pay homage to that. I follow Dr. Tamisha Brock Price. I think that's your rookie sister, Rick. But she marched for Norfolk, though, right?
No, she got her master's from Norfolk.
Okay, but Norfolk alumni. She has her business in Vegas that's ensuring that people pass the praxis exam. That's real work. I've never met her personally, but I've had a conversation on the phone with Miss Stephanie that's at Norfolk, one of the world's best bassoon players. Like, they got women out there that's doing the damn thing. Now, I feel like we going to the initial question about protecting each other. Then as band directors and Black men, we need to protect our Black women, female band directors, and promote them and do better with that. Put them honestly on a larger platform, such as a TMEA and different things like that, and Midwest and so forth and so on. My thing is, bro, if you better, you better. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm anomaly. But it's just certain aspects where I know that I'm weak in this area. If this person is strong, then that's what it is. Let me learn from it. I'll close with this. That's a lady. She's the band director. I don't know her name, but she's the band director at Sunset. Like, she did a style show within the last, I think, 5 or 10 years. Say it again.
Remetria.
Man, she has straight walls across. I don't think she has had earned anything lower than a 1 the last several years. That's marching and concert band, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Man, you got women out here doing it. So just shout out to the ladies who are doing it, man. I have to go according to what they're saying to be their truth. If they're saying that it's misogynistic aspect in it, then that's what it is. If I'm listening to this story about this young lady that should have been drum major in 07, we're talking about 07, bro. Then if it's not misogynistic, then what it is? If it's not racism and it's not misogyny, then what is it? But shout out to PV, because we've had several female drum majors over our history.
Yeah, I have.
And band directors currently. Yeah. Can I please go? Because I'd like to pick up.
Hold up.
I'm going to
give you the floor. I'm going to give you the floor. I just want to say this, and then I'm going to give you the floor. Quan, you said something that I'm going to touch on, but I'm going to bring it back after Rick says what he needs to go say. But go ahead, Rick. Let's all sit back and listen to Rick.
Yeah, right. So Quan, you brought up the question. You're like, I don't know what it is. I know what it is. HBCU band directors is a sausage fest. That's exactly what it's been. It is. It's been that way forever. It continues to be that way. It's going to be that way until somebody challenges the status quo. Point blank, period. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how I know I'm right. Let's go back to what the Toya situation. Oh, I'm going to put name. I'm going to do it all. Let's go. LaToya is one of the dopest female educators in music out there right now.
I agree.
A lot of people didn't even know who Toya was until she really got away from the HBCU bands and started doing what she's doing with some of these bigger band programs. And
I agree.
She is by far one of the biggest advocates for women in music, period. She's speaking at Midwest this year with a panel of great women. She is an awesome advocate for diversity and inclusion. The work she's doing with William Lake, my good friend, y'all frat brother William Lake, who's at the Crane School of Music. Great work there. I know Toya personally. She's a good friend of mine. Me and Toya talk all the time. So I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to bump hard for her. People like her, like Miss Sanders, are the reason why I brought that question up. Juliet are reasons why I brought that question up on the show. Let's talk about facts. Toya already talked about it, so I'll be quick. She was the best candidate for drum major at Norfolk State at that time, and she was denied because she was a woman. Misogyny, y'all, it don't matter if we are in 2022 or 1965. Misogyny is still huge in the black community. It just is. There are a lot of black men that will not vote for a black woman or any woman that runs for office. Forget all the other stuff. Hillary Clinton didn't do nothing worse than any of these other damn politicians. But they didn't like her because she was strong. She didn't take their shit, and she was able to speak for herself. Can nobody question her credentials? I've seen it said many times. She was the most qualified person for president we've ever had. And they found every bullshit reason in the world on why that lady couldn't be president and chose the worst president that we've ever had over her. That is the country we live in. That's not a black issue. That's not a white. That's a man versus woman issue. Let's look at some of these women band directors out there. Because we got a whole list of shitty male band directors. Think about all the women band directors you've ever known. How many of them had shitty band programs?
All of them, damn near.
Like, when it comes to the high school level, Juliet Borkins won Asymmetrics 3 years in a row, competing against all the best bands in the country. Minor, high school, all these bands. IC Norcom won 3 years in a row. She went undefeated. Sybil, the work she's doing as an arranger, as an educator, all these things. All the women I know are dope ass teachers. But they don't get the experiences to be at the Southern Universities, Jackson States, the better bands in the country. They get shitty ass band in the middle of a cornfield with a $25,000 budget, and they supposed to make goddamn magic happen with that. They got 6 horn players, 35 auxiliary dancers and flags, and a full drum line, and they supposed to make magic with that. That's the opportunity. Shots fired.
Drumline always big though.
Hey. And then when they do get an opportunity to get to one of these bigger schools, they offer them peanuts for pay. I wouldn't take that shit either. I'm a woman that's been active in the field for 30, 40 years, and you offer me $65,000 to be a director of bands at a big ass school that does band all these activities year round. Like, it's just disrespectful. That is what women get when they go into these positions. And please, y'all, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm not. I'm trying to be an active advocate for all these dope-ass women band directors out there that get to deal with the shittiest programs ever, like Tamisha. Tamisha is one hell of an educator. Tamisha is the president of the HBCU Band Consortium now. A lot of people don't even know that. She is the president. She runs it now. I can't wait for her to get one of these big old schools so she can go out here and take names. Look what happened at Grambling State soon as Dr. Roebuck took over. Everybody, dog, you hear Grambling. Grambling a lot better. Julian even said it.
Yeah, bro, because they was all for some years, bro. They was all for some years.
And they had a legend running a band program, but we just going to leave that where it is. Hello?
Truth be told, he was past his prime.
Doc, we just going to leave that where it is, Quan. When she took over, look what happened to the band program. When women are given the opportunity, I say all that to say this. For all the dope-ass women band directors I know, they're usually amongst the most talented people in the room. Julian brought it up with Miss Sanders. Miss Sanders was the number 4 bassoon player in the country. She was being recruited by major symphony orchestras, not just the Virginia Symphony, who she plays for now, and the Virginia Beach Symphony. She was being recruited by the names we all know. She was the number 4 bassoon player in the country, but Miss Sanders chose to stay at Norfolk State because of everything else that she was doing. She had a comfortable life there. Miss Sanders can be a band director at any school. I love that lady. She already know how.
And she had a chance to play for Beyonce's group too.
Yep, Oh, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Miss Sanders was clear the top for that. The lady that they have now, she's a legit saxophone player. But they talked about her image in her audition. That's what our women get to look forward to. Oh, you don't look the role. Man, get the man. I swear, man. Like, this the type of stuff make you not want to have daughters. Because you're gonna literally have to fight somebody just for your baby to be able to get a equal opportunity again in the room with some subpar dudes. Like Julian talks about this all the time. These guys that get these band director positions that are terrible, haven't had any type of track record of having success at any level, and they'll get the job because their degree has the right college's name on it. Hello? We didn't talk about that on this show. But you got all these dope. I can't wait for Crystal to get out here and say, all right, I'm ready to go to get my own band. She already teaches at the university level. She's at the University of Maryland. You can't be sorry and be teaching at the University of Maryland. I can't wait for her to say I'm ready to take over my band program, because I guarantee you that band gonna be good. Because there's an expectation. It's like double the expectation that we have as Black people. We already know when we step in the room, we have to be better than. I can only imagine what it's like to be a Black woman. I have to be better than because I'm Black, but then I have to be better on top of that because I don't want to be second guessed by all these men in the room who don't even meet my credentials with the talent in my pinky finger.
And then they got to deal with passive aggressiveness sometimes from the white women who don't want to be looked down at because they in a whole.
Why are you, LaPortia? Are you okay?
Why are you angry?
All right?
Why are you angry? Why are you upset?
I work in corporate America, so yeah.
Or the lack of respect, touching their fucking hair, putting your hands on them and stuff like.
It's a law, bro. It's a law. It's a law that's called the Crown Act now because of this shit. Like, you couldn't even wear your hair a certain way at work.
I mean, but it's crazy. I have seen some males running band programs that are the worst teachers I have ever fucking seen in my life. Julian, please pull up that Boys II Men End of the Road video. That guy got a goddamn college gig. Like,
that
come
video,
on, bro.
If anybody wants to see that video is on our Instagram page. Thank you.
That guy got a college gig. That guy is teaching people to be music educators.
Stop lying.
Come on, bro. Quan, Julian, am I lying?
No, he's not.
Don't you lie.
When
he has a university
they
gig.
would rather have a man in the seat because he's a man than to put a qualified woman there.
His band was blowing, dog. You hear them horns playing extremely out of tune and out of character? Oh, let's give him a college gig to educate the future of our people in these programs. But Miss Sanders is still an associate director. Man, well, I swear, bro. It angers me, dog, because there's so many dope ass people that don't get opportunities, both women and men, but mostly for this sake of this conversation, women that do this job at an extremely high level and have to look at people in positions that shouldn't be there with marketing degrees and fucking other types of degrees that aren't even music degrees. But we're going to leave it there.
So I knew this was going to go this way, so it's all good. I'm happy about this. Anyway, but I want to actually look at this from a different perspective as well, right? Because like if we go to and this is what I was going to come back to, Quan. If we go to our secondary programs, our high school programs, right? You can find a plethora of young lady drum majors. I've seen high school programs where it was all girl drum majors. You can find a number of women in leadership, directors. But aren't we supposed to be taking examples from our university programs? So why is it that our high schools and our secondaries can make these changes and start being a little bit more open to making changes, but our universities still refuse?
Because we as Black people refuse to understand that the world has moved forward and past where our 1965 approach to band is. We still we got gay people that can't even be who they really are. whether it's the bathroom they choose to use and all these other things that are happening at my school. KK Psi my school was the first chapter of KK Psi TBS to become co-ed. That happened at UConn. And there are a lot of black chapters. I'm putting all y'all on the spot because I'm in KK Psi. There are a lot of black chapters to this day that refuse to allow women into KK Psi. Like, what you do is so special that there aren't women that don't deserve that have that same honor. Isn't it for achievement, for a technical achievement? I thought that's what it was for. But yeah, keep them titties out the frat, dog. I done heard that so many times. So let's be real, man. Let's call a spade a spade. This is Talk That Talk. This ain't one of these other shows that all they do is talk shit about who band is good and not. We addressing issues that affect black people. Go ahead, Portia.
So here's the biggest problem that I have with it. If we're talking about drum majors, not trying to be funny, and this is no shade, but most of the drum majors that I see for outside programs aren't even really drum majors. You're a showpiece. So why a girl can't be a showpiece? I mean,
but it's not like that at Norfolk, though.
Yeah, I was about to say we have a different
Norfolk.
situation at Norfolk. Like our drum majors actually got to do work.
They got to do work. But what I'm saying is you're discriminating. Women can do the work for the programs that do the work. But I'm saying for these programs, you don't have to be a man to be able to hump and dance and pop and drop into a split. So that
ain't cap Smash Time. I know it's a different question, not to derail from the question about women leadership, but that's a whole different topic with drum majors and what they even do now. Because
but I'm saying these traditions are keeping it male.
Yeah.
But what about it makes it male? What about it?
I feel you. I look at
tradition.
I look at it like this. Being a band director here, because they're kids, you treat them fairly as kids. Like that's what it is, and the best person gets the best job. My very first drum major here was a female. Most of my section leaders are females. The truth is, they're well organized, and when they say they're going to be in it, they're going to do it wholeheartedly. Like, it's not even that question of, well, they're emotional and nothing. Nah, you have some of my male bandsmen are more off kiltered than the females.
Females mature faster. Females mature faster.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I think, Julian, you said why we're not emulating. I think I saw it in the comments. A lot of the band directors are old, bro, and they feel like them seats is vital. Like, I think
I'm gonna have to disagree with you slightly.
Vital to what though?
Because a lot of these university programs don't have them old band directors no more.
And
a lot of these university programs got these young dudes now.
But here's the thing, y'all. Oh, go ahead, Quan. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, but they may be new, but it's the same mentality.
But it's the same mentality because of, I want to go back to that interview that Dr. Taylor from Southern did with Meet Me on the 50. He brought up a very, very valid point on that interview. There are a lot of alumni, y'all, that are holding people to some standards that just aren't true. Oh, it's tradition that this person needs to look like this to be in this position. And you have alumni, y'all know I ain't lying, that will pull every cent that they give to a school if you don't meet their demands with your program. So I think it's partly that, and I also think it's just coming from a position of ignorance, right? Because there are some people that really don't think that women can teach. One of the most key educators of the 20th century, and y'all can look her up if you've never heard of her. Her name is Nadia Boulanger. Nadia taught Quincy Jones. She was like the person that people went to when they were trying to learn like all those advanced theoretical things and stuff like that. That was a female. She was one of the best. When you look at the Romantic period, because women were put in the background, if you've never listened to the music of Clara Schumann, you have done yourself a major disservice. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Her music was better than her husband's. And William Schumann is considered to be one of the greatest composers of the Romantic period. Her music's better than his.
And they really say he took some of hers and then took credit for it.
I wouldn't doubt it. Her music is so forward thinking. Her music sounds like jazz in some instances. Go listen to her mazurka. Man, I'm telling you, bro, like some of the dopest people out there. Mary Lou Williams, you know what she was doing. Like, man, it's so many dope musicians out there, bro, that are women that were carrying the mantle for a lot of these groups and a lot of these periods that we don't even know of them because of this misogynist approach to both music education and this white-centered music education. Like, there's so much stuff out there, y'all. So I would encourage our listeners, go check these people out. Mary Lou Williams, Nadia Bollinger, Clara Schumann. Go listen to some of that music, y'all. You go even all the way back to damn medieval time with Hildegard de Bingen. There you go. Hit that old school daddy. Right.
Number 7.
Right. Like, they've always been there. It's just that the white men that taught a lot of us music theory wasn't a part of it. We were lucky because we actually knew who those people were. Dr. Dorsey at Norfolk State was not having that. You was going to get that music education. So, and that ended up being why I went into music history. So, yeah, I'll leave it there for me.
Portia, any final thoughts on this topic?
I think we need to talk about this more. I think we know it's a problem, but I don't know that it's a conversation that is being had. And if it's being had, it's probably not being had at the right levels, but we got to support our own. And if we want to see change, we have to be that change. We have to support that change. We have to push for that change because all of us, see that it's a problem, but not much is changing.
All right. That one, I thought it was going to last a lot longer than what it did, but it's all good. Y'all trying to keep that time. All right, man. Let's keep it rolling, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable, and it has been uncomfortable today, conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more, man. Y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy as soon as y'all go and come into this room. And also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on your notifications. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcasting networks. All you got to do is type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, let's keep it going. So we still kind of in the same realm. I didn't have this conversation. I actually was listening to the conversation that they were having on Crystal's show. And Leah said something very interesting. She was saying something to the degree that the white man, I don't know, I just felt like saying that. The white man goes to the table and they have meetings amongst each other in secret, behind closed doors. And when they have these meetings, they come together and they have these conversations about not only moving the culture forward, but also when it comes to women, bringing or talking about the women they would love to bring in and bring to the table. So the question is, where is it at? They meet at the table behind closed doors. Why don't we? They meet at the table behind closed doors. Why don't we? I think Quan has already started one. Portia started one. Rick, go ahead, brother.
Them doors ain't closed. We just ain't there. I'm sorry, man. Like, Alfred Watkins is in the room. Johnny Lee Lane is in the room. We got to be putting ourselves around the right people. I know a number of African Americans that are in the room, including black females. Toya is in the room. Toya is really moving the needle forward. Tanya at Penn State, another woman in the field who is a freaking goat that we all need to be praising more. She's young. She's younger than me. Like, she's a young lady and a woman, sorry. And she is doing it at the highest level. She's the director of Wind Band Studies at Penn State. African-American woman. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's legit. So when it comes to us having these conversations behind closed doors, they are happening. That's what the HBCU Band Consortium is for. But sometimes it becomes like the old boys club, where all the goats get together from our field and they dictate what the future's looking like. And one thing I saw this year, and I'm going to call out in particular Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams was in there making young up-and-coming band directors network with one another. Mr. Adams was literally taking people from one person to the next, making sure they at least introduced themselves. And Mr. Adams' exact words was, we ain't going to be here forever. And this thing needs to be able to move forward. And so, I appreciated the hell out of Mr. Adams for doing that. But I think that's a job that we have to do ourselves. But the problem is we can't get out of our own damn way because we still so worried about the competition from damn marching band. One thing I saw in that room, Dr. Pennell, Mr. Adams, Dr. Sanford, Dr. Phillips, Charlie Brown from just retired from Shaw, all the greats that we know, Julian White, they were all in there. They knew each other. They had known each other for over 40 years, and they were friends. We can't even get out our own damn way to be friends with one another, or at least mutually respectful. Yeah, I may not like your band, but I can respect you because I respect what you do as the band director. That's even hard to say now. Because I'm sorry, if your band is out here doing marching band year round and your march and your concert band ain't talking about nothing, I'm sorry. I'm not giving you that respect just because you sitting up there on the podium as a director of bands. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not doing that. Especially when there's so many opportunities for you to do something different. Yeah, I understand parade season is a part of a lot of these band cultures, and I respect the hell out of that. I like parade season. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities on this planet. I've been to Mardi Gras many times. You all right? But at the end of the day, I also enjoy all the facets of what it takes to be. So I think these conversations are happening. I think the people that have the loudest voice aren't in the room because they can't go in a room with Dr. Sanford and have that type of conversation. And then the last thing I'll say is, and it's tragic, a lot of the people that's leading HBCU band culture and marching band culture in particular are unqualified.
What?
They either don't have the credentials or they work at whatever they work at and they internet gangsters for marching band heads. That's who runs marching band culture now. It's not people like me or like y'all or like Crystal or like Chuck. That we don't run marching band culture. It's the people that's the loudest online in them damn groups, people that ain't never marched a step in anybody's band that got the loudest voice for our culture. So I'm very, y'all know me. I ain't never been one to hold my words, but I do think that these conversations are happening. I just don't know if all the right people are in those rooms to have those conversations. So I'll end by saying those of you that listen to us or those of you out there that may hear this show, if you're interested in moving Black bands forward and the culture forward in a positive way, all aspects of Black band culture, not just marching band, then the HBCU Band Consortium is a good place to start because it's going to put you in a room with some of our upcoming talent as well as all the old goats. They were all there. The wind ensemble was conducted by Kelvin Johnson. If you don't know who Kelvin is, you need to go find out. Kelvin is the director of athletic bands at LSU, and he's one of the brightest stars out there right now. Jack Eady was there. Director of bands at Western Carolina. Jones. Jack Eady was there from Western Carolina, one of the biggest African-American names in the field. These are the people we need to be looking up to, not little Pookie who wrote whatever rap song in his room that has cross voicing and bad. Anyway.
And quick little spiel there before we move on. Kelvin Jones went to Jackson State.
Absolutely.
Got his undergraduate degree from Jackson State, played trumpet.
And like I said at the beginning of the show, you can say what you want. In my opinion, Jackson State has one of the best music programs in HBCU band. I can't say it enough. Y'all ain't out playing their wind ensemble. I'm sorry, you're not. Their marching band is one of the best sounding. I know a lot of these band heads don't like the new sound, but I don't care what y'all like. Yeah, I would like a little more trumpet too. But when it comes to cohesive sound and the energy and the excitement, who's better? Not many. So Jackson, y'all on my top 5. Kudos to Jackson State. Shout out to Dr. Little and the band staff. You guys are great.
Shout out to Miss Dr. Edie as well. I don't know. You said him. Good brother. All right. Quan, they meet at the table behind closed doors. Why don't we?
So I'm gonna take a different approach from my guy Rick. Some of us truly haven't even earned a position at the table, and that's just my opinion. I think I'm right now. I'm 34. Bless God, He's allowed me to see 34. But I feel like that I'm late on specific things that I need to know as a band director. Now, my goal and my prayer journal is to literally be one of the greatest band directors of this generation. I've wrote it down, I've prayed it, and I know that God is going to provide. However, faith without works is dead. Like, it's a process to it. And many times we focus on
Amen.
Many times we focus on point B, but your blessing is the process to getting to B, not the ending or destination of B. Many of us, real talk, as young band directors, it's kind of like we're going about it the shortcut way, when there's no such thing as a shortcut way to greatness. Like you said, when you're a band director, or you're supposed to be, or you want to be the director of bands, it's not just marching band. It is wind ensemble. It is jazz band. It is symphonic band, so forth and so on. We emphasize band so much to where we want to sit at the table with greats, right? And these greats are well-rounded. But we just want to talk about marching band. To a genius, you're already going to bore me, because while they're a band director, they're like Swiss Army knives, like they're multiplicative in different facets of the music education world. We just want to focus on one. So in my opinion, we haven't earned our seat at the table. And I'm not speaking about black and white. If all those greats that we just mentioned, that is the time we're talking. If I was, and I'm make sure I go to the consortium next year. When I get there, I'm going to ask questions and be quiet. That's what you do. Like, real talk, when I was aspiring to be an alpha, that's the first lesson, bro. You sit there, you ask questions, you be quiet, because you don't know nothing about the fret. I'm pretty sure that's the same process like with Rick. You ask questions, you show humility, and you get in, and then you work your way to earn your keep. A lot of us don't want to earn a keep. And the way that we're going about doing it is by being the loudest on Facebook. So we feel that we have a large following on Facebook that eventually is going to get us to specific places. Because truth be told, it has benefited some, but not all. And the some that it benefited, they had forms of talent that others did not have.
Well, so Quan, can I please ask you one question? Because what you just said, Portia, I promise I'm not going to hijack it. I need to ask just one question. Mm-hmm. I think you're leaving one thing out, and I want to ask you about it. Mm-hmm. The one thing I feel like you're leaving out is the fact that some people are just better than others. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know why that's a bad thing. I don't know everything about music. I know I don't. I'm not Jacob Collier. Jacob Collier is a way more advanced music theorist than I am, and he's 10 years younger than I am. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I know I still have skills and talent. There have to be an exceptional few, and then there have to be the good people, like Tom Brady, GOAT. There ain't many Tom Brady's that's ever existed, ever, if any. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay for those people to be Pantheon greats. Paul Adams, Lindsey Sargent, when it comes to arranging. Those two, to me, that's the Pantheon. Then from there, it trickles down. And I think that we look negatively at the fact that all of us ain't GOATs. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask that question. Do you think that that's part of it? Is the fact why you were saying people can't get out their own way? Because everybody feels when they graduate, they're going to be the GOAT of band?
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think from a competitive aspect, everybody, like, you want to be great. Like, I think you should want to be great or strive to be great. But I think the issue is it's the way you go about being great, in my opinion, says more about you. Like, if you want to be just great at marching band, okay, but how was that, like you're saying, pushing the culture forward? If like, because what I realize is, and I was a band head at one point too with a degree. I thought, man, I'm gonna graduate and build this band. Then I realized, bro, that's like literally 20% of what being a band director really is. The other 80% is real talk being an administrator. The other percentage is literally staying on top of the new and latest pedagogical. Y'all know I messed that word up, but y'all know what I mean. Learning the new concepts and methods, you know what I'm saying? So that you can continue being better, learning about technology that Crystal is giving and offering, different things like that. That's how you become great. The problem is we are at a standstill of what's making me great is clicks and likes and blowing that hope. That's the problem. It's kind of like we're focusing on this little star in this galaxy of opportunity and potential. Like, what some of us are doing honestly outweighs more than just honestly clicks and likes. Now I understand clicks and likes get money and they get recruits, but what happens 4 years after that freshman music major is there and has no idea what they're about to walk into, and walk into some of them situations that all three of us, all four of us, have said tonight about that rebuilding process and how to cultivate a band program out of nothing. That's all I'm saying. It's like some of us, honestly, we don't deserve to sit at the table. Now, me, I know that the type of drive that I have and the type of humility and what I'm striving to do, me personally, I email college band directors who I feel like are ghosts just to ask them questions. All you could do is either ignore me or tell me no. But I'm going to find it. And I think that's what make those exceptional few great. Kobe asked Jordan, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how to say it, just express it, but it's just when you want to be great, you're going to find the answer. Again, knocking on door, it's gonna open. Seeking you shall find, bro.
The answer is y'all don't know no 20-something year olds that have world renowned band programs. You don't. They don't exist. All right. It's a process. That's the answer, Quan, to your question.
Yeah.
You get it with experience. With age comes knowledge and wisdom. Go ahead, Portia.
So I think for me, it's a mental thing. It's a thought process. We've gotten into this place, and it kind of touched on what we talked earlier about. I can't learn from you because I'm worried about me. I'm going to worry about all those people that you named. Rick had their own lane. They were able to find their niche and be great in their own way at the same time. I don't have to diminish you. I can still learn from you because I have my own lane. I can be great and you can be great all at the same time. We might not be great at the same things, but we can all contribute to and be our best selves. A lot of this now is I'm gonna worry about my band program. I'm not interested in sitting at a table and worrying about the culture. If my band program is getting likes, if my band program is doing what I think should be done, if we're popular, then that's all that matters. We're not looking at the long game. We're not looking at how this impacts our programs 5, 10, 20 years down the line. It's my lane is doing all right now. I'm not worried about anybody else. Whereas the Dr. Sanfords, the Paul Adams, all those other people that you named were interested in, this is bigger than us. And when we're gone, we want this to still be a thing. It has a benefit to our people. We are growing musicians and building lives here, because I know I would not be where I am right now today if it was not for those experiences. And the Legion taught me life skills. if we don't carry this on, if we don't build into our people the importance of moving this forward, then it's going to go away. That's why Mr. Adams was doing that and walking people around and saying, get together, because there is power in numbers. Your program might be great, but what are you doing to make sure that it continues to be great and that the culture of our HBCUs and our band programs as a whole is great in the future if you're not willing to sit down and talk to and build a rapport with the people around you? So I think our mindset has shifted to we're better together. To I'm gonna get mine. I hope you get yours. And if it don't affect me, it don't matter.
But the other side of that too, Portia, is this. We all Greek on here. We got 2 alphas, 1 omega. Portia, I don't know if you want everybody to know what you in or if you don't care.
Oh,
so
I'm a zeta. Okay.
Yeah. And make sure you say the T. You
Yeah.
don't say delta.
Yeah, please
Don't
say
say
the
delta. Right.
Yeah.
Make sure you say
Right.
the T. But
we know that life. We done been through that already.
right. Don't say Zetas will cuss you out. But anyway.
Yes,
Ain't no
chapter-
T.
You don't go around saying delta. I ain't never heard y'all saying delta. Cuss me out.
The Zeta Gamma chapter does not play that. You're
Yeah.
going to pronounce that T or you'll be ignored. So yes, I am a Zeta.
But the part of it, Portia, we all Greek. I wanted to say that because shout out to Ricky Lee, Spring 86 Pi Gamma. When we first crossed into Omega, Ricky Lee set all us down and we were talking about homecoming because y'all know how big the Pi Gamma tailgate is.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Lee said, your main responsibility is for a brother 1992 and back to know your name. That's how you know you did what you were supposed to do as an Omega, is that the GOATs recognize you as a peer, not as a young fella. They look at you as being in the same class as them. A lot of these man directors now, Portia, touching on what you said, could give a shit if Alfred Watkins know who they are. As long as them little people on the Facebook group and on YouTube that's clicking on, like you said, and giving them money, considers them to be the GOAT, we all good. And that's why I'm going to keep saying it. Today is me showing love to some of these programs people think I hate on. As long as programs like Jackson State and Southern and Bethune-Cookman and FAM are putting up Tennessee State, always, yeah, let's make sure we put them in there, are putting up these wind ensemble videos as well as the marching band videos, as well as the parade season videos, I will show those band programs the respect that they deserve because they can do every facet of music. A lot of these other band programs, I'm not going to name them yet. Maybe we'll have a smoke show one day. I've been telling Julian I want to do a smoke show. Maybe it'll come one day.
We did a smoke show.
But let's do another one.
We did a smoke show for the whole mass band situation.
I know. We need another one. But
all right, well,
when that comes, Portia, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna call some of these band programs out that's internet famous, Facebook and YouTube famous, because you ain't never seen a goddamn wind ensemble clip in their life, but they up here talking about they the GOAT. We're gonna leave it there. And I done seen some of y'all wind ensembles, and now I know why you don't put them up.
That's because their mentality and their perspective is this is my priority. The rest of that doesn't matter. How our impacts our future is detrimental to our future. It doesn't matter. It's what is hot right now and how can I get more likes? But the future of this thing is what we have to start thinking about the long game. We've gotten into this instant gratification thing, and it doesn't help us in the future. We have to start laying the foundation for what's next and to sustain this thing. And if we don't do that, we're going to be in a world of trouble.
And here's the last part. Let's start the smoke from me now, Quan, and then I'll turn it over to you, Quan. Putting up a flyer saying your school is having a wind ensemble concert ain't good enough. If you ain't run them clips. If you ain't crank that concert band. If we ain't seen no clips of your wind ensemble, it ain't happened or it sucked. And that's why I'm gonna leave it right there. Or if you up there scrubbing the internet of any clip of your spring or winter concert, hey, we talking about you.
Put like this. Bottom line, bro, we have to think about legacy. Like it's legacy over likes. Like that has been sponsored by Talk That Talk t-shirt. It's copyrighted.
I like that. That needs to be a shirt.
I'm saying legacy over likes. That is
we need to make sure that shirt's in green and gold. Hey,
purple and gold too. All I'm saying is
I'll do both.
all I'm saying is, bro, like those people that you said, like sitting at the feet of wisdom, like you said something earlier, Rick. You said knowledge and wisdom. Well, the reality of it is the reason why it's two different distinctful things is knowledge, but applied knowledge is wisdom. The problem is these goats are going to transition to the other side of heaven. And again, going back to what we were saying about protecting, in African traditions, there's one older guy that's like a library. And when they say that when he passes, it's like putting books and books in the ground. That's why it's one of the saddest days in the village. These guys are goats that have experienced racism. These women who have experienced misogyny, so forth and so on. And we just disregard them because we have such quote unquote a cult following and allegiance to some of these schools that we did not attend. And we're not even willing to learn from these people. Like when Dr. Sanford said that the first HBCU band to actually march in a tournament of roses during the 60s was Mississippi Valley. Who would have known that? You know what I'm saying? It's different things like that. Like, yes, the HBCU push now, but to do that at that time, I mean, it's unheard of, bro. These guys was breaking race barriers then. You know, for like we said last week, Dr. William P. Foster was marching C.W. Handy on the field. Like, why we don't know that stuff? But we're so focused on blowing that hole to where we're going to lose where we come from to keep the standard of excellence moving forward. That's all I'm saying, bro. The table is there. But have I felt like we've earned a seat at that table? Not yet.
But you know why, Quan? And I know we got to move on. The reason why is because to attain that said knowledge that you're talking about takes years, and it takes effort, and it takes, like you said, sitting the hell down and shutting the hell up. When I hear Mr. Adams, Dr. Sanford, Julian White, and Dr. Purnell talking, I'm not putting my opinion in that conversation. I'm 39. The man been teaching for 50 years. Not alive for 50 years. They've been teaching for 50 years. I'm going to shut the hell up, and I'm going to soak that knowledge up. Some of us, Quan, don't know how to shut the hell up. We the celebrity. We got to be the person up front and center. It ain't about the kids. It's about us. What make us look good on Facebook and on YouTube. Like Quan, I'm telling you, boy, you spend that knowledge tonight. That shit's profound, bro. Some of us just need to learn how to get there and shut the hell, and how we say it in Portsmouth, shut what they call fuck up. Right? Fuck up. Like, you need to learn that you don't know everything. Like Eric Prince gets on me about that all the time, Quan, because with all the things I've accomplished in my life and in my career, I still come from a position of, he calls it way too humble. Because I want to learn. I'm just like you, Quan. When I get in a situation where I know I can get something, I'm gonna get it. Like, that was one of the biggest depressions I had when I was at PV, and I didn't feel like I was continuing to move forward in my career. So some of us just need to learn that we don't know everything, and there's somebody out there that can give us something that's gonna make us better. And it doesn't have to be marching band related.
I leave everybody with this, man. In this life, you need to move with a silent tongue, a listening ear, and a faithful heart. Those that'll get it, you'll get it.
All right. Shut what they call fuck up.
We got a lot of things going on as far as nice little slogans we can use and everything else. All right. I was just gonna add one, but it wasn't even mine. It was what Hop said. Sometimes we major in minor things.
Minor things. Yes, bro.
So, hey. All right, man. Let's keep it moving. We going on to the last topic. Let's do it the right way, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more, man. Y'all go ahead and smash that like, daddy. And also, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcasts and networks. Just make sure you type in Real Talk That Talk. We are on our last topic. So as soon as I put it out, I know Portia's happy because she like, yo, we gonna look at the clock, young fella. But as soon as we put this out, I'm gonna put the link inside of the chat so you guys can click in with us and have the conversation with us. All right. So we kind of still on that same topic, but shifting gears slightly. Black bands and instrument selection. Why have we confined ourselves? Black bands and instrument selection. Why have we confined ourselves to a box? Go ahead, Rick.
Because oboes and bassoons and French horns can't play loud. They can't play with these bombastic sounds. So I'm not going to choose that. You take notice, we got more euphonium players now than trumpet players. A baritone voice dominates the HBCU band sound now. One of the ranges that is just like the most unneeded. And when it comes to the texture of the sound, dominates the sound of HBCU bands now. The fact of the matter is, people will go with what they think is going to give them the most sound, because in HBCU band culture right now, what is considered good is who is the loudest. And they don't care about wind ensemble. A lot of these people, not all, but a lot. I go watch some of these high school programs. They don't even have an oboe in the building. A lot of these band directors don't know how to teach bassoon. So they're not going to start a student on bassoon because they themselves never touched the bassoon. Miss Sanders made sure we knew what that pie key was. We knew what the vocal was. We knew what those things were taking Miss Sanders' woodwind class. So I could go into a room. Am I a world-class bassoonist? Hell no. But I can teach it. See, that's the problem with all you band heads that think we're wrong, is that we always have the conversation as if it's from the standpoint of a person who's not going to be a band director. Justin, I know you coming in at some point. Justin does that all the time. Everybody don't want to be a band director. You're absolutely right. But there are some that do. And those few that do have to have a set of requisite skills that make them qualified to do this job. And when we just completely just disregard what they need for the sake of what makes people happy and feel good, then we're doing a disservice to the future of music education at the HBCU level. In order to play legitimate college, now you hear that T portion, I got that T in there, legitimate college level literature, you have to have a 4-horn section, F horn, not French horn. The horn was founded in Germany, not France. That's why we call it the F horn, because of the pitch of the horn, not because of French. You have to have 4 of those, because each one of those pieces of music will have 4 individualized horn parts. The one part usually doubles with the third. The second part usually doubles with the fourth. You have to have double reeds, and in some instances, more than one. John Mackey is writing 2 oboe parts in his music. He's writing 2 bassoon parts and a contrabass bassoon part. I ain't never even touched a contrabass bassoon, me personally. So I'm behind. So this is, you have to have those instruments. You have to have a string bass in your wind ensemble if you're going to play legitimate literature. Like, I'm just being real with y'all. Yeah, we can have these stupid marching band conversations till we blue in the face. But the fact of the matter is, our kids are behind because they were not being prepared for the things they need in order to be at this level that we're talking about. So if we want a generation of grade 3 and 4 bands, have at it. I don't. So I'll leave it there because we done talked a lot all tonight. So go ahead.
You mind if I go real quick? Because I got to get out the building in a second, bro.
Yeah, I know they're kicking you out.
Yeah. So I'm Just put it out there. The reason why in regards of our instrument selection, and we're confined to a box. One, because we're stuck in our ways. Two, but it's still dealing with misogyny. I've written the peer review articles on it, and literally says that African Americans are more likely to gentrify instruments. That's what we do. And I've seen it personally where, and what I mean by that is where it's like we look at woodwind instruments as being quote unquote more feminine than a heavier brass instrument. And even from that, sometimes placing females on specific instruments according to not if they can carry it or not, but because that's what quote unquote females do. Females more likely to play the flute, and you know what I'm saying, and that's the mentality. That's a going back to what we were saying before, a misogynist mentality. When I've seen, and I've taught in different settings, and I'm gonna just put it out there, my Hispanic students, they don't give a damn if it's a flute, clarinet, whatever, whatever, they just want to play. And sometimes I've heard African American boys be like, "That's for girls, bro. That's for girls. Like I don't want to play that." And so I think that's one aspect of it. Number two, I have an OES sister that always asks me all the time, why does HBCUs, why they don't use bass clarinets like when they're marching? Like what's the problem with that? Like why are we still, using the old school like military mindset for instrumentation for bands when we could push those specific things forward? Because my niece, she plays bass clarinet. That is her principal instrument. Can she play clarinet? Yes. But she really wants to be a principal bass clarinet player. And her marching band right now marches her with bass clarinet. So she was literally researching to try to find an HBCU that marches bass clarinet, and was disappointed because I was like, well, look here, baby, you're not gonna find that. Because we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, could you imagine, real talk, if an HBCU had a section of bass clarinets? They would be excoriated at first until they saw what the capabilities of having a bass clarinet in that program. I'm just saying, bro. I know it's not gonna get there. I know it's not gonna get there, Rick. But I'm just saying, what if? Because honestly,
I think me and Rick may be in the same thought process with that.
Ahead,
they
bro.
wouldn't even use them unless you go to Norfolk, FAM, maybe Bethune, possibly Tennessee State. Outside of those four, who would really use a bass clarinet? Southern won't, and this is no slight to anybody else. Alcorn won't.
Can you please name me the SWAT band that you've actually heard their woodwind section? I'm sorry, I still don't count Bethune and FAM as SWAT bands yet. I know they are, but let's take them out the equation. Please tell me the full woodwind section that you've heard at an HBCU, and I'll wait. Yeah, you heard some piccolo daddies, but I said full. You ain't heard a saxophone sound in SWAC in probably about 40 years, because all they up there doing is this. All these stupid ass dances. They ain't playing a thing. No, I'll leave it there.
All out of their mouth. They just swinging the horn.
But what's crazy is, I heard a full section when y'all had that gym battle against J State. I did.
I didn't hear what he said. What did you say?
I don't know the name of the jazz piece, but I did then.
You know why?
I get it. I get it. Nah.
When we did Giant Steps?
No, when we did Killer Joe.
Yeah. But of recent years, no, absolutely. But that's some of the problem there too. And you took them out of the SWAC, even though they're in the SWAC now. But that's even an aspect of instrument selection too, of the voicing for that. So I mean, that's a whole different conversation in regards of arranging so that that particular family can be heard in the context that it should be heard. That's a whole different conversation. But in regards to this black bands, it's just about blow that hoe now, bro. It's just about blow that hoe.
Portia, I want to get you in this. why black bands and instrument selection, why we can find ourselves to a box.
Well, I think you all have said this on the show several times. Comfort. We're comfortable. We don't want to do nothing new. We want to change. We don't want to change it up because we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to. We're gonna do what we gonna do. And I know definitely being at HBCU is important, but I think sometimes in what we do, the overall goal of the marching band is musicianship, and I think we lose sight of that sometimes because we're too busy trying to make sure we stay black. And you can be good at whatever you do and represent your culture while doing it. But I think the comfort of the box, we're comfortable here. We're not gonna rock the boat, like Rick said. We're not gonna piss off these certain alumni because we're trying to do something different. But you know, we talk about how all of this stuff is starting to look the same. We're not pushing the envelope. We're not incorporating different things because we don't want to look white and we don't want to do something different than what's tradition. But you can expand and spread your wings. But Rick touched on it, and I think Quan touched on it some too. Some of it is that these kids that you have in your program don't know how to play some of this stuff. So we can't even try it because they don't know how. But I think it's a comfort level, in my opinion, is we don't want to do anything new. We have our school and the culture has certain expectations of what HBCU bands are supposed to do, and they don't want to do anything outside of that. Whether it's
I
good or
agree.
not, whether it could be beneficial or not, you know, whether it could grow your program or not, your students or not. It's just we're comfortable here. This is what works. And you know, we have this if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. But what about not fixing it, but making it better? How about that? But yeah, it's a comfort thing, in my opinion.
I agree, Portia. And the thing too is, and I think it was either Rick or Quan who actually touched on this. It when it comes to just what we do in general and as black band directors or just the culture, we are kind of misogynistic too, right? Because a band director will look at you and be like, "Oh, clarinet, go ahead," you know, instead of saying, "Hey, man, let's try her out on the euphonium, or let's try her out on tuba, or let's try her out on trombone,
Well,
or
hell,
maybe
what do
let's
you
put a
want to
bassoon
play?
on her head."
How about asking, what do you want to play? How about that? You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to try something new? I don't want to put you in a box. What are you thinking about? You interested in something else? Those
Absolutely,
questions don't happen that often.
absolutely. Well, I know as an educator, I ask my kids, but typically, I'm gonna be honest, going what Quan said. Most of the time, especially for my Hispanic kids, they just I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they never were really amped to play anything. Most of the kids that look like us that I've had more than likely will name the normal things that they're used to seeing. Drums, um, or drums. That's pretty basically it. I don't get too
Or
many other.
saxophone because they think I'm gonna be this world-renowned jazz player, and I don't have to sit down and learn scales and how to seal my arm shit. They be like jazz because it look cool, and I want to get girls. Well, okay, cool. You know, it's crazy, bro.
I can just
But then most of us ain't even playing jazz. So
Yeah, bro.
all right, man. I
I think
saw
we,
Justin in here.
yeah. Let me say one more thing, dog, and then we can move on.
Go
I
ahead.
think we being nice right now. How many of these schools are actually
Who's violence?
in a position where they have to have diversified instrumentation? I mean, I'm just being real. Like, if you're not playing the music that calls for these instruments, or if your arranging style doesn't take advantage of color whatsoever, you just looking for the biggest, loudest thing, then you don't need it. That's the reason why a lot of marching bands don't use flutes. They use piccolos because piccolos are higher pitched and can give you that top register, and you can hear it clear. I mean, I'm sorry. Like when I write now, Quan, I am absolutely thinking about being able to hear my woodwind parts. So I write my clarinet parts in a different register to make sure that they're audible. And my saxophones, the voicing I use is based on the sound I have in my head, but also being able to hear the parts. Like that's the thing with these young arrangers that a lot of them don't understand is that arranging is not just being able to write loud parts into your arrangement of popular music. It's being able to use the art to, deal with any situation you're given. A lot of these people ain't writing for small bands. You learn how to arrange when you got a weird ass instrumentation that you writing for. You got 4 flutes, 1 trumpet, a trombone player, and a tenor sax. You ain't got no tuba, no nothing. You start to get real creative when you're writing for bands like that.
But that's also understanding the colors and the tessituras of the horn as well.
Guess what? We keep using these big words, which is awesome. But the truth is, a lot of people don't even know who Samuel Adler is to read the book to understand truly where's the meat and potato of the instrument. Like you can put a specific instrument super, super high, and then you just made it thin. Like it's things like that. But when we say that, we're hating now. You feel what I'm saying? Like you have the same voice setting all the way across on a song, but you didn't alter it or change it. I mean, like I said,
I'm gonna give you a prime example. When I listen to Bethune-Cookman, and shout out to Mr. Portier, the arranger at Bethune-Cookman. When I listen to his ballads, to me, I mean, y'all already know how I feel about Bethune-Cookman and ballads. I don't know many bands that can play them better. But when I listen to his arrangements, the way he uses the tenor saxophone players, and Mr. Adams does this too, to reinforce the baritone voice, if you actual baritone register, it gives it a depth of sound to where you'll hear the tenor saxophones loud and clear. Yep. Those young writers that ain't got no training, but all they know how to do is write loud stuff, they don't know that. So that's a gem I'm gonna give to some of, if any of our listeners are aspiring to be arrangers. The tenor saxophone voice and the baritone voice can be interchangeable depending on the range that you're using and the color that you're trying to get. If you want a warm sound, it don't get no warmer than baritone and tenor saxophone and clarinets playing in the low part of the horn. That'll give you a sound, I'm telling you, man, that you'll really appreciate. So it's just
Rick, I'm gonna also say this. That's stuff that we used to work on and talk about all the time when we were at Prairie View.
But we also had Mr. Adams.
That's true. Never mind. I'll be quiet.
I mean,
but guess what? Unfortunately, I didn't have Mr. Adams.
Right.
But I got y'all. Like, and that's all I'm saying. If you want to be it, bro. Like, you want to be great at whatever, it's gonna take a sacrifice. And that's all I'm saying. And you gotta seek the knowledge. I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
That's why I asked Crystal.
All right. Yeah, I put the link inside of the chat. Like I said, Justin was in here earlier. If he comes back in, it's all good. We'll pick him up. But if you didn't get the link, I'm gonna put it up in a second. My camera went hot, so I had to turn my camera off, if anybody's wondering. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. I absolutely appreciate it. But anyway, if you did not catch the top of the show, I played a commercial. So instead of me actually talking about it and Rick talking about it, let me quickly go ahead and play this commercial. Give people time to come in. If not, then we'll go ahead and close out after the commercial. All right.
The wait is over. The U.S. Bands Adjudicated Battle of the Bands now has 3 new locations added. Sunday, October 9th in Montgomery, Alabama. Sunday, October 16th in Petersburg, Virginia. Saturday, November 5th in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Saturday, November 12th on the campus of Prairie View A&M University. For more information, go to www.usbands.org and we'll see you there.
All right, here we go. So I went ahead and made sure that we got that information out there. Please make sure if you are somewhere in one of those surrounding areas, please go ahead and sign up to be a part of that program. If you have a high school program, please go ahead and sign up. From the information that we received, Rick, and please correct me on this if I'm wrong, but Texas is filling up. And so we're doing some great things in Texas and people are signing up, but we want to make sure that we get it filled up for all those other areas. So please go ahead and make sure that you guys sign your groups up if you are in any of those surrounding areas.
And the thing about it is this, y'all, especially to a lot of our band director friends out there. This ain't Lil Pookie and Ray Ray trying to throw a marching band show so they can get paid off of your art. This is a legitimate marching band circuit that has been in place for over 30 years, that has a track record that you can go research for yourself of quality. That is what this is about. Our kids deserve the same quality that, as Julian said, Dwight, D-W-I-G-H-T, man, M-A-Y-N-E, gives his friends all the time. We deserve that same amount of quality, and the Blue Devils organization, a lot of us know who the Blue Devils are and respect what they do. They are the backing for this organization. This is a part of Blue Devils Performing Arts. So if you want that type of quality instruction, adjudication, this is the type of show you want to bring your bands to.
All right. And we will be judging. I just wanted to put that out there. Myself and Rick will be judging. I think me and Rick, we're doing the Virginia one, and then Rick, you're doing the Prairie View one, correct?
I'm doing all of them. I'm on all.
You doing all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, Smith's daddy. He doing all of them. All right, and then Talk That Talk will be at the one in Prairie View, so we're going to kind of run it the same way we did last time, minus Maya, because Maya will be judging for the Prairie View one. So it'll be
my band will be in there.
So it'll just be me by myself.
Yeah, but before we perform, I'll make sure I come down.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for helping us out. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get our first guest in here. Let's go ahead and welcome Justin to the panel.
Oh, got the shirt on.
Okay. All right. I see you got it. Yeah. Look at him. Look at him fresh. You on mute, bro.
Please wear that around some of your favorite bands. Justin, we can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Fired. Hello, you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, man. I would try to wear it in the summertime for summer band coming up, but it's gonna be hot as hell. But yeah, man.
You don't want the hoodie. I could have got you a shirt.
Send him the shirt.
I'll go back and I'll go buy a shirt because I like a few on there, man. Y'all do some creative stuff over there. Most of it's funny, but yeah. But y'all said a lot tonight, man. I mean, like, you know, that's one thing I like about you, Rick. You don't mind saying the shit that people either don't want to hear or scared to say, or just your opinion. And that's why I respect you a lot, Rick. You know what I'm saying? Though I don't agree with a lot of it, but I respect you for like saying it. You know what I'm saying? That's a real nigga, right? He gonna say whatever you gotta say, how you want to say it. But I'm gonna say this, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing that I can agree with you on, Rick, is the pushing bands forward. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? The style in which sometimes it's done. I know, like my girl Portia said, I think she sometimes is boring, or like, you know, bands are scared to like just be different, you know. And I'm gonna say us down south. Like sometimes, like a lot of people don't know it's broke because they don't know it's broke. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's been working. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes my whole life. If I get a new dirt bike, I'm going to mess with that gearbox just to make my dirt bike faster. That's just what I'm gonna do. I'm breaking it and taking away from the quality of it, but I understand. But if it's working for me, it's hard to convince somebody, like, you know, it's like one of the best bands in the world, one of the best bands in the swag. Y'all may not like something about it, you know what I'm saying? But every year they got the most kids, the biggest classes, you know what I'm saying? They're getting the most views on social media. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be hard to convince somebody that is broke, you know what I'm saying? Like, you telling me my stuff broke, but you got 25 people that the band over there you got. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sound good, that's cute and all, but how much enrollment and money y'all bringing to y'all schools? You know what I'm saying?
But that brings up an interesting point. What's more important, size or quality? Because if I got a 25-piece band that sound better than everybody else, I'm sorry, I'm okay with that.
But the thing is, these bands, those bands don't sound bad. They just don't sound up to some of y'all standards.
Well, no, but I went back on that tonight, and you even laughed at me when I said it because I wanted to make sure I'm giving these bands their props. When you think about the biggest schools, I think that you're talking about, Like, I mean, let's talk about the GOAT, right? Let's talk about the Kings.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, they can call themselves the King. And I've said this on the show many times, right, Justin? You agree with me.
Yeah.
They have the cachet to call themselves the Kings. Why? Because if you look around HBCU bands right now, ain't many that didn't go there.
Right.
Ain't many of them that didn't go there. When you look at their band programs, they ain't just putting up videos of the marching band. I done seen videos of them in parade season. I done seen videos of them in rehearsal. That's the one right there. It ain't a lot of bands out here that's going to put some rehearsal videos up, because then you can really see what's going on.
Them Band Room Chronicles really, honestly, set a precedence for other bands to start doing.
Right. Like, I give Dr. Taylor his props, because I respect the hell out of him. I don't know him personally, but the fact of the matter is, knowing what he came into and what he's trying to move that band to, and I've heard nothing but good things about his musicianship, so I wish him much success. Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, like I said earlier, them, Jackson State, Tennessee State, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, I'll throw Prairie View in there because I know what Dr. Zachary is doing with that one ensemble and all the other ensembles, and Eric with the jazz band. So I'll throw PV in there. Those are the 6 that you constantly see their recordings. Florida Memorial is fastly coming into that conversation.
Kentucky State, we ain't gonna play no games with nobody. Stop playing.
Well, Kentucky State, I've never heard their wind ensemble. I've heard their marching band, but I heard that their band director is very talented. I don't know that brother, but you can definitely put them in there when it comes to marching band. I can't wait to see their wind ensemble. I want to see what they're doing. So for me, Justin, it's going to always be a conversation, bro, about the whole picture, not just the big picture. The big picture is that one that we put up in the living room. You want everybody to see it. That's the marching band. I want to see those Basquiat's and that Mona Lisa size painting, that stuff that you got to work your ass off to get to. That's what I want to see.
I feel you, Rick. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, like, I ain't gonna say, like, I hear Quan say it all the time. Sometimes if the bigger bands, like, set the example, more bands will follow. But you just named a bunch of stuff that like, the Kings and the top bands doing, and why the other bands ain't following. So I guess that statement kind of wrong, Quan, in some senses. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, why other bands ain't following suit?
No, there's other bands. We just don't talk about them because they don't have that same name notoriety as the big ones. Like, you know one band I respect the hell out of, North Carolina Central. You can say what you want. North Carolina Central's jazz band will play circles around pretty much a lot of people. And I ain't just talking about HBCU.
But even like Benedict College.
Right.
Benedict College band sounds good, bro. Like, they sound damn good. But they don't be in conversations like that. I don't know why. I think during COVID, they damn near got over like 10,000 views from that trombone battle that they had versus Miles. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can play. They sound good for that battle of the band that they had in Atlanta, that gym battle. They sound damn good, but they just don't get as much notoriety. In my opinion, bro, I think what separates and what Hamer did when he took over Southern, the marketing team was so strong. You may not even be a fan of Southern, but you are follow Southern. And so you have more Southern followers because of the name over the past 20 years, bro. Like, they just gonna ride with that team. And, like, not to take anything away from Benedict College, Tennessee State, but they just don't have the same following as Southern and Jackson, bro.
But I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna push back a little bit on that. And Justin, I'll let you talk. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna push that. Let me just push back real quick, Quan, on that statement, because you also got to have a product to back up all that good marketing and all that. The fact of the matter is, Southern also got the clips. Like, you know me, I don't like them rap daddies in the fifth, but when they pull them rap daddies out, they get clicks because they usually hidden. Like when they did that Outkast song that Brian wrote, that shit was fire. To me, that was the song of the year. Huh?
Was that Spotty?
No, Liberation.
Yeah, Liberation.
That Liberation from 2018 to me was the song of the year. That shit was fire. And they only played it, and it's only one clip of them playing that, and that's a Garrett clip. And to me, that was the song of the year that year, and it's a rap song. Justin, I forgot to put that up there too. You told me name some rap songs I like. That Liberation goes hard. So you gotta have the videos to back it up too. Let's not sit up here and act like the Kings don't have the videos that you can click on. Yeah, they got some. Go ahead, bro.
But I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, just to because the argument was, are these small bands doing it? Like, I don't think the marketing team. I'm not to diminish the quality of Benedict College because I mentioned them, or even like you said, Kentucky State. Over the years, they, from a marketing and viewership aspect, they don't have the same aspect, but they sound just as good.
I'm gonna say this. A few seconds ago, you said following. I'm gonna say this, bro. I want to speak about it like somewhat as that actually matters. But like I don't know not one HBCU band that we can name. Sometimes you'll skip over Florida Memorial because they knew, or like Tennessee State. They have the following. It's just they're not getting put out there in the right light. You know what I'm saying? For example, Killer Cam was their like media guy this year, and it's the first time we actually seen consistent clips of them. You know what I'm saying? Why haven't they been on the curve? And we keep saying just found it like the media team. It's really getting old now. Like Garrett started the media team in 2014, 15. You know what I'm saying? Like we like 7, 8 years in the game. You know what I'm saying? I feel like bands are missing the curve on that media tip. But Rick, my question to you is back to pushing bands forward. What we do now and cranking, and y'all talk about the instrumentation, because I would love to hear violins in a band. I like the violins, one of my favorite instruments. I want to see what that would sound like on with a marching band. Give me 20 violins or 30, that'd be crazy. But in the stands. But how can we I wrote it down. How can we push marching band forward? And I want all y'all to answer. How can we push marching band forward while keeping the new culture? Now, when I say that, Rick, we like these rap daddies. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who get the kids in the seats. I don't care. You can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying? How do we, all the things you said, like writing music in the right form, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, and right chord structure, and how y'all broke down the F1. A lot of kids don't even know F1 stands for French. You know what I'm saying? What we doing new is like the nigga shit. I say that. Like, the cranking and the list stuff. How can we keep that going forward? Because every generation adds something in the pot to keep marching band going. So,
but see, the thing is, you think I disagree with you, Justin, and I really want you to understand I don't. Yeah. What I always say is every conversation is always centered around marching band. It's the only thing people want to talk about. There are so many other facets of these band programs that get neglected because all people talking about is marching band. And I'm going to go back to something, Justin, and then I'll answer your question, bro, because I think it's a good question. I'm going to go back to something that I said about 2 months ago. If Dr. Taylor, Dr. Zachary, Donovan Wells, well, he's Dr. Wells now. He had the honorary doctorate. Dr. Wells, Dr. Chipman, Dr. Little. If all those guys got together, Justin, and said, we're going to put our petty differences aside to grow the culture in the way that we see fit, and they came up with one thing, and all those bands pushed that, band culture would change instantly. It would literally change instantly because these bands that I just named are the 5 and 6 biggest bands in the country. They are. Bethune-Cookman, from a number standpoint and a fan following standpoint, they're the 6 biggest bands in the country, and Tennessee State add them in. So if those directors were able to come together with a strategy of how to move the culture forward, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But because we can't even come to a consensus on what's good and what's not, it's almost, to answer your question, it's almost like a moot point, bro. Because we can't even agree that playing in tune is essential to being a great band. People have argued me down, bro. Oh, that's that white mess. Oh, you just want everybody to sound the same. You done read the comments. You done seen it just like that.
I probably was a part of it one time.
Right. Yeah. Like people that don't even know me. Oh, you just want everybody to sound the same. No, I don't. Playing in tune is not a white thing. Playing in tune is not a marching band or wind ensemble thing. It's a music thing. Notes ring at different frequencies. When the frequencies don't align, the notes won't sound good. Like, that's just physics. But we can't even agree on natural laws of physics, Justin, that have been in place for years, bro. And that's my argument. Everybody want to argue me down because I don't agree with the status quo. You know how we grow bands, Justin? The same way we grow football, the same way we grow basketball. Some people get into football and basketball, me included. I played football and basketball. I played basketball in the church league. I was phony. So but I still played. I played organized football in high school. I played for 1 year. I hated it. I love playing it in my community, but I hate organized football to play it. So it ain't for everybody. And I think that it's a mistake for us to assume that everybody that shows an initial interest in music is going to continue in music forever. It's just not realistic. So I think the key is to, when you get those students in place, if there's a visionary in front of the program, create a program that, like you said, caters to what they like. So if I was a band director at that band you're talking about, Justin, I would hit them rap daddies. But when I hit those rap daddies, I would teach. Hey guys, let's talk about timbre here. So we know that the melody here is, I'm going to use March Madness. We know the melody here, and this is a simple lesson, is deco, 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 do. So what I'll do, Justin, is I'll go, okay, guys, let's talk about the articulation here. Notice how the first note of each one of those, it's built into 2-note groupings. Notice how the first note of those seems to stand out more than the second. So now we're talking about overall weight of notes, which is an advanced musical concept that you're not even having to tell them. All right, weighted notes. Adam Neely just did a whole presentation on his channel. So, dago, 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 dago. To me, that's a timing thing to make sure everything lines up in the right spot. That's an articulation thing because I just sing it exactly how I wanted it. Play it exactly how I sing it, guys. Dago, 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 dago. And I will literally do that with my hands so they can see where the accents are. Like, there are so many ways, Justin, of doing both sides. I don't want people to stop playing rap music. I want us to damn teach while playing the rap music. Teach these kids the fundamentals and concept of music while out there blowing that hole in tune. That's why you got that thing on. You want your band to be louder, everybody? Tune your damn band. And it doesn't have to be A440. You can get different colors, and it all depends on temperature too, which is another conversation that a lot of people don't talk about. So at this point, Justin, I can meet you 50-50, bro, because I think your goal is a noble one. You want kids in music. You don't care how they get there. You don't care.
For me.
Right.
Put them into it. I can make a kid like marching band. That's my thing. But
so the same way you can make them like marching band, I want you to consider what I was saying earlier. Yes, every kid ain't going to school to be a music major, but some of them are. And in order to be a music major, there are requisite skills that you have to have. Forget being black, forget anything. We're talking about the music profession. There are requisite skills that you have to do this job at a high level. And if we're not even teaching the kids that stuff, then we're doing them a disservice. Yeah, the marching band is fun. Yeah, the marching band is going to keep them enthused during that part of the year. But for our music majors and our future educators, because some of those kids that aren't music majors are still going to be going somewhere teaching somebody band, whether they go back to their high school or whatever. They need to know that teaching that same type of articulation, helps with vertical alignment, helps with matching articulation, helps with lining the notes up in the right spot so we're all playing together and stopping in the same. All of those things just happen just from me singing it that way and having the students think about it in that way. Not talking about dynamics.
Do you think teaching is going on at rehearsals in college or college level?
Absolutely. Some places, yeah. Absolutely. That's another thing. I ain't never saying on this show that it's not happening. Mm-hmm. I said that the level at some of these places is not at the level of some of these other ones. It's clear that when you walk into a FAMU band rehearsal, intonation, matching articulation, and all those things are important. It is clear. Why? Because of how they sound. Some bands, that is not as important to them, starting and stopping together. You can hear it with all these random hangovers, all these random baritones, overpowering the melodic voice in an arrangement, you can hear it. It is evident that it is more important at a Tennessee State, because shout out to my boy Larry, at a Tennessee State than some other schools, or at a Norfolk State than some of these other schools. It's just evident.
Gotcha. Last thing. I know we gotta get out of here. I finally got a chance. I was kind of embarrassed of myself. I never watched the show that PB has. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what the hell the PW was. I'm like, I'm looking for it on my channel. I just didn't have it. So I had to go online and actually watch it. So I know a lot of people, I think, Luke, you said this, like, why nobody's not talking about it like it should, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I actually went and gave at least about just 5 episodes a chance. One, just to be honest, is greatly produced, and the kids are doing an amazing job. It's just the storylines, and it's boring. Like, it's borderline phony. Like, the first episode, you talk about, like, we mad that we got rated by the undefeated number 8. Come on, who cares about the undefeated, for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who told y'all to put that up? And it's boring as hell. I'm looking like, dang, they really gave y'all all this production. I'm looking, I could have shot a lot of that shit with damn self. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, damn, all this, and now we talk about the relationships in the band, and like y'all tried to make it spicy, you know what I'm saying, for everybody to watch. Y'all just didn't, I don't want to say y'all took the low-key blackness out of it. It just took a lot of the HBCU stuff that we actually care about out of what we watch. And that's just my personal critique of the show. You know what I'm saying? They could have actually made it better, worth watching. Like who the section leaders is. You know what I'm saying? How we get that? Like let's spend a whole episode at a practice versus as like practice game. You know what I'm saying? That's just me getting a couple episodes. I wanted to speak on that because like I was wondering why they got a whole show that nobody's like really talking about. Let that have been Southern or Jackson State would have had that show, and everybody, all the main characters would have been famous right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on that. I know.
Well, but
I was gonna say something.
Yeah.
I don't think you got to understand. I don't think that was a Prairie View decision. I think that was more from the production standpoint and the way that they wanted to be able to tell their story, right? But I also we've even said it on the show, right? Like me and Rick being there, we know things that happen within that program, things that happen at their school. So we understood that a lot of it was really scripted and a lot of it was some forced storylines, blah, blah, blah. But the one thing that we continuously said was, even though it's still part of the culture, so support it anyway, right? Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, this is a situation where it's putting us in a place to be able to be recognized. And if there was support that was shown for it, it could more than likely open the door for more things to be shown and given to us. But if we completely shut the door on it, then we're also shutting the door on a lot of the other avenues that we could possibly, be privy to.
And I'm going to go a step further than that, Julian. The fact of the matter is, I think what I'm hearing from what you're saying is you wanted to see more of the band, like the actual band life in the show, rather than.
I'm looking at it from a direct high school standpoint. Right. That's what we're trying to touch. If I'm looking at that from kids, like, bro, like, it's just stuff that, like you said, Luke, they had their own storyline. They told a story they wanted to tell. Did they even meet with like some of the band students or band staff to tell a story that maybe need to be told? Like,
I mean, I was gonna say, I can say this. I had some. Well, I ain't have them. I told my kids about it. One of my kids came in and said that they liked the show. They liked the fact that what was her name? The two ones that was beefing.
Martavia,
and she was there when I was there. I couldn't even think her name, but they liked the fact that they were beefing. They thought it was pretty cool. They thought the other person that Martavia was beefing with was messy. It was like, they messy, blah blah blah. You like they enjoyed that. They enjoyed the fact of seeing the relationship between the dancer and the drum major. They enjoyed that. They found interest in that. So I don't know. That may be coming from, and I'm not just hating specifically on you, but that may just be coming from your perspective, because you have a band head mentality where you want to see more of that meat. But there may be a sector of people who have absolutely no clue of what happens in band.
Let me tell you,
so for them, that may be entertaining.
What I liked was how Doc got in a girl, like he really put her in her place. And when he told her like she thought that apology she gave was gonna get her the chance to butt for homecoming, but I was like, damn, like
Nope.
and it was like yeah, like stuff you see stuff like that. That's what I actually can expect from going to HBC. Now, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying it's great production and everything was good. I just felt like they should have second thought a lot of it, or like just gave it a little more thought behind it. You know what I'm saying? Just from
No, I think, but here's the part, Justin,
So-
and I brought this up
so-
on the show. Well, go ahead, Quan.
No, I was just saying, but I guess to bring it back around full circle, my thing is at the end of the day, the reality of it is when you're doing a show of that magnitude on a national platform, maybe your first year, maybe you don't have all creative rights like you want to, right? And
Yeah.
so when you bring in certain ratings, like it's like because it's fully supported. Because let's be real, there's a market that pushes HBCU. I think if we were to support it like we should have, and honestly, just say went through all 8 episodes, and the ratings were where it was supposed to be, then maybe you can sit at Dr. Zachary could sit at the table and be like, all right, it was like this last year. We want to show this aspect and this side of it more so from this side where we could have possibly had more band clips and different things like that. Because I agree, Justin, and knowing Dr. Zachary for what I know him as, I don't think he really give a damn about no ratings. He's just trying to be the better form of himself and better form of Prairie View that it can possibly be. But go ahead.
And the fact of the matter is, man, people told me ain't nobody worried about no Trey Songz. I'm gonna bring that up again. You're not gonna hear more band stuff on that show or see more because they don't have the rights to play that music. That's the problem with all these bands out here, Justin. They got 70 to 100 song books. It usually costs $300 to $500 a song, and if it's a new song, it can cost more than that. So you do the math. Are they really gonna go pay $50,000 just to be able to play some songs? What band got that type of budget? So at the most, you're gonna get 8 seconds or so. I think that's the national thing you can do before they cut you off and start suing you. 8 seconds. That's all you're gonna get of whatever they doing. You ain't gonna see Jackson State because Jackson ain't signed no contract. Like it's big. It's bigger than that, man. And that's why we gotta. I appreciate the hell out of what Southern is doing. We have to own the rights to what we do. We have to benefit financially from what we do and control our own image in public. And I think you're gonna see a lot more of these HBCUs start to take that Southern model. They're gonna start kicking more people off the field and stuff like that. I promise you're gonna see it.
I'm glad I talked to y'all about that. I didn't look at it like that. Like if more people would have just literally just supported it, it could have been maybe better to got renewed for a second season and something like that. I couldn't even find the damn season. I didn't like what's the CW. If I typed it online, like all the seasons, all the episodes are right there. Like I said, great productions and the kids did an amazing job of selling the PV program. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, there's a lot of stuff I learned that I didn't really know. Or maybe you see more personal aspects from the students, but it's just small things like, okay, like, man, like if I just showed it from like this angle or like gave us a full episode of just like what a band practice for every section. You know what I'm saying? What are they tubas like? You know what I'm saying? What are they, you know what I'm saying? This small little things, but I liked it. It just the entertainment value is like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? I feel it.
So Justin,
I was gonna say Quan and then Justin final thoughts because we got to keep rolling.
Yeah. So my thing, Justin, but also we're comparing it to like the shows that were on Netflix, and it's been shown in the past that Netflix gives you more freedom and autonomy to control your market or your show as you see fit. So even like the Bethune-Cookman one, that's on Netflix, Marching Orders. Marching Order was good. The only complaint about Marching Orders literally was the episodes were too short.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was a good show. They literally went to the Battle of the Bands. They showed the field show. They showed the interaction with the drum majors. They showed how the band director got down, even how to problem solve with the flags, with the uniforms. They did it all.
That was the stuff we know about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was more relatable. But again, we're talking about Netflix giving you the autonomy, and I feel like there should be more shows that come out like that. But anytime we have an opportunity, we talking about at that table again. where they're giving us a national platform. If we don't support each other, we're going to have far few in between. Before, Tyler Perry is the Tyler Perry who you see with now. He was on the Chitlin circuit, and then he got a deal with Lionsgate until where he now got Tyler Perry Studios. We got to start somewhere.
Gotcha. All right, y'all, man. It's a good episode. I wanted to touch on a few things. I like this episode. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talking that real talk I like to hear, man. But nice talking to y'all, man. I'm gone.
Good night, bro.
All
right. We got another person in here. Let me bring her in here real quick. Liz, welcome to the show.
Hey, that's my sister, y'all.
Oh, that's your sister?
Yeah.
How y'all doing? It's been a pleasure listening in. I appreciate it.
Hi, Liz.
Well, we're glad to have you.
I'm doing well.
All right, what you got for us, Liz?
Nothing much on my end. I was just listening in. It was my daughter that Quan was mentioning who plays the bass clarinet, and she's done it for years, and she wants that HBCU experience. She wants to go to a HBCU. She goes to Kingwood Park High School, where that is not the same culture, and her struggle is exactly that Quan mentioned. You know, why can't she march her bass clarinet? Why don't they march bass clarinet? And, you know, if she's been perfecting her skills and honing in on her abilities with her bass clarinet, what is she to do when she gets to college? You know, so, I mean, it's a real question. It's a real concern. It's a real problem, you know, for her especially.
I think a part of it too, Liz, just to be honest with you, I do teach at the university level now. Even with like some of the bigger, you know, predominantly white institutions, yes, your daughter will definitely have the opportunity to major in bass clarinet. And I'm sure there's a number of these HBCUs that would want her to come, especially those that actually care about wind ensemble, because she'll definitely, especially with that being her instrument of expertise, she'll have something to offer. But no matter what, she's going to have to learn how to double on a particular instrument, because even like graduating, there aren't many jobs that are specific, if she chooses to major in music, to bass clarinet. Are there some? Absolutely. She could join the military band. She could join, you know, like a community concert band or something like that. But like even with like the major symphony orchestras, not a lot of that music calls for clarinet, bass clarinet. So that's like a specialty instrument in most ensembles. So it's definitely something where she can excel. But from a marching band standpoint, you know, you'll get that at some predominantly white style institutions as far as college level, but there just aren't any HBCUs that it's never been an instrument in that type of ensemble. And I just don't see that changing in the near future. And like, unless it's something like we were saying on here where a band wants to do something creative. Maybe someday HBCU will have 20 violins. I saw a HBCU do Beethoven's Fifth Show. It wasn't an HBCU, it was a high school, a predominantly white high school did a Beethoven's Fifth Show, and it was amazing. And they had an orchestra right there on the 50, and the band was marching them around. It was amazing. So there are possibilities, but unfortunately, ma'am, it's going to be one of those situations where there's just not going to be an HBCU that marches bass clarinet. So she may have to learn like saxophone or march B flat clarinet.
Yeah, I would definitely say maybe tenor saxophone.
Same reed size. So.
Yeah, that would be my best recommendation, unfortunately.
Thank you for that input. She's sitting here listening. So her question was, what do they recommend I do? And so you guys definitely answered that question.
Yeah, the fingering between tenor saxophone and bass clarinet is clarinet in general is pretty relatable. So it'll be something that she would probably be able to transfer easily when it comes to fingering. And then like Rick said, which is very true, it's the same reed size. So there's not going to be a major transition between the two instruments, and it'll be a little bit easier for her to transition from the marching style to go back to, you know, wind ensemble playing with.
And they play the same exact notes. Those
same
two
notes,
instruments are in the same key. They're both B flat instruments. So it's literally just finding those couple of different palm keys and stuff that are a little bit different from the bass clarinet. But I think with how highly Quan was speaking to her, a couple of weeks on that tenor saxophone, she should be just fine. That would be. I agree with Julian. That would be the instrument I recommend as well.
Gotcha. Thank you. So all in all, she needs to be preparing a piece on tenor sax versus her bass clarinet.
No.
Yeah, I'm about to say no. Absolutely not.
No. So I want to be very clear here, Liz, because what you're asking ties into what we've been talking about on this show since we started it. The schools that understand and want to have well-rounded programs will look at your daughter, especially if she's like an all-district or all-state players, and they'll be salivating to get her in their band program because they want people that can do what she does. What we're saying is for her to really get that overall HBCU band experience that you were talking about in one ensemble and during concert season, which hopefully the institution that she chooses has, they will want her bass clarinet skills. But during marching season, so she can get that HBCU marching experience, she's going to have to look at an instrument like either clarinet or saxophone. So it's specifically for marching band.
Okay. And the HBCU that she's looking at is in southeastern region of the United States that you guys mentioned, that does focus on the technicalities of music and music education and sound and all the things that make music truly what it is. And so that is the institution that she wants to go to. She'll be a senior in high school next year, so we're just trying to prepare her.
They'll throw the bank at her too, especially if, like you said, she's an all-state player. Trust, if you get in contact, I would strongly suggest you get in contact with the director or some of the leadership of that institution now, because she'll be able to help pay her way through school with that instrument. So yeah,
that'll be great. All right. Well, again, thank you all for the time. Thank you for allowing me to participate. Well, allowing us to participate. Hi.
Bye-bye.
That's her saying hello.
Bye, Queen.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would be honest. We have a lot of great conversation on the show, but this is what this is what the show is about. That right there. So, Liz, we definitely appreciate you. We appreciate your daughter for all the hard work that she's doing, and Quan, that's your sister. So, we appreciate you.
Let me say, go ahead and hit up Dr. Chipman. That is hilarious.
we knew. No secret.
Hey, but can I tell you what sold her, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
That Young and the Restless.
It's beautiful, man. Like it
is, bro.
Like that's what boiled my blood, bro. Why can't we all agree that Young and the Restless is legit? If you think it's boring or whatever, when the Woodwinds make that initial entrance after the first statement, it sold me. When I heard that Woodwind section was in tune, I didn't even have to hear the rest of the video. I knew it was gonna be good.
That's all we talked about when you showed it to me.
Yep. I called you. I was like, dog, listen to that first note. I was like, wow, man. Like, kudos to her, man. She has good family that's leading her in the right direction, and it sounds like she has a good ear. So,
all right, we got one more coming in. You better make it quick too. All right, what's up, Derek? Come on in, bro.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's up, everybody? Hey, I'm gonna make it quick though. I wanted to. I know y'all were talking about instrumentation, HBCU instrumentation, how closed-minded, I guess it would be, and I agree to some extent. But I wanted to pick your brains on if we're being like really pragmatic about acoustics on the field. Outside of HBCU instrumentation, unless we're going to invest some money into a sound system, what else can we do? That's kind of like, my little thing right here. What can we do outside of our acoustic instrumentation with the brass heavy sound. Woodwinds, they do add a lot, but only if you have numbers. You can't just, we talk about adding woodwinds to the band, adding more, but you have to have low key double amount of woodwinds that you do with your brass. I'm not gonna say to make a difference. That's not true. You have to have a great amount of woodwinds. Like I know in Norfolk State, I think the last 2 years we've had a 30-piece saxophone section, and it has made a complete difference with the band. It's done what it's supposed to do. It's darken up that brass sound, or it did whatever we need to do. But that's because we have 30 saxophones. A lot of bands don't have that, So I know you all were discussing about. You just got off discussion about the bass clarinet. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think, being realistic, that's not gonna happen in HBCU, man, ever.
It ain't gonna happen because these schools ain't recruiting to have a 30-piece woodwind section. They were recruiting to have a 30-piece euphonium section.
And
let's be real, bro.
With that, these schools also, when they recruit their woodwinds, they don't make them feel appreciated for being there, other than just dancing in the front.
I agree.
You can't relate it to Norfolk, because it's very difficult to relate it to Norfolk because we appreciated the woodwind.
Yeah,
we use the woodwind sound, but how many HBCU programs are actually doing that on a consistent basis, or even at all?
I agree. I think we do have a unicorn at Norfolk State, but I'm just saying, us trying to move forward, doing what we do. Like, shoot, you can't see. I got my two brothers over here. I'm a tuba player, right? They both saxophone players, man. So at first, before I started getting arranging, I didn't appreciate woodwinds either because of what I used to hear from HBCU bands, man. I was a big Southern fan, man. Southern got like, but I mean, back when I listened, I'm talking about like 07, 08, man, they had probably 20 woodwinds all together. I'm talking about between the clarinets, the saxophones, and the piccolos. It was like,
and it's less now, right? Because they only got one row.
Yeah. So, that's what I grew up on, because I was like, in marching band, what does it make a difference? I knew in concert band, obviously, that it makes a big difference. Like, in fact, we have to limit the amount of saxophones in concert band because it's such a powerful sound in that setting. But on the field, they don't have that directional sound, it's an omnidirectional instrument. So,
I mean, but look at it from this standpoint too, bro. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them. I'm sure, like, I watched that wind ensemble video. They have the people there, and there are a lot of schools that have the woodwind section. They just don't want to be in the marching band. And, you know what I'm saying? So that's another aspect of it too. And then, like, it's the writing, man. Like, my best friend is a clarinet player. Went to Norfolk State.
Okay.
You ain't never had no hard time hearing High Side or Ebony Elite or Sax Maniacs in Norfolk. Go listen to that video from 2000 when we were in California playing Love by Music Soul Child.
I hear
you
that.
can hear them doggone woodwinds loud and clear, bro. They were over there belting that shit out. But we also had Paul Allen.
I wish.
Yeah. But he does tell you how to use your woodwinds to his advantage. He tell what Julian was talking about, knowing the testator. Oh, was it Julian Quan? Talking about knowing the testator is an instrument, like what's going to project, like like we talk about clarinets. You put them in Shaimo range, it can help. It's not going to project. However, you put them in upper register, they're going to sing through the whole band, depending on what's going on. But I'm saying, I just want to pick your brains on it. That's all I said. I'm saying, like, we talking about advanced bands. What other instruments can we add to our regular instrumentation that will make sense? Number one, in the type of bands that we do, make sense, and add another element. I used to think about like the pit. I think that's something we can do.
That's
maybe.
Smart.
And I was going to type a comment here. Electronic sounds.
Yep.
I think that's the cap of it. I don't know what else we can do in our element that would add to it.
We experimented with this back in like 08, 09 because we had one bass trombone.
I marched bass trombone.
So bass trombone. That timbre in the midst of what Bodacious is doing was cool as hell, man. I wrote for it. When I did If You Leave, I wrote a part just for Juan and Sadrack. They had a part, just their own part. Bass trombone is one. Actually using the E-flat clarinet to get that that timbre. Yeah, that up like you talking about altissimal range, getting the timbre right while playing there. It's a little bit easier on that instrument. Norfolk used to use E flat trumpets. I disagree. But if you want to get that overall brass sound, maybe considering looking at like a piccolo trumpet just to get that type of timbre. But we don't need it.
Go crazy with that,
right? Like there are instruments, man. I think you're right though. I think at some point you got to look at it and say, okay,
what's pragmatic to our ensemble,
right?
You know, now if we had
unless you're using it for like a solo instrument or something.
Yeah. If we had mics around the field, it's different. You know, I could agree. Let's put a bass clarinet out there, Barry sax out there. If we have mics to amplify that sound, but that's not our case. We're not working with $5-10 million budgets to bring this equipment in and have these sound engineers come here and do this live. We don't have that.
But you know what's crazy though? That's a very interesting point because, in my opinion, y'all, and tell me if I'm wrong, the most recognizable band in the world is Ohio State.
Nope. Without a doubt.
Ohio State. Like when you think marching band, all them videos on Facebook, everybody's seen them dunking the ball, all that stuff.
Oh, the Michael Jacksons.
Right. Ohio State doesn't have a pit. They don't have a color guard. And all they use is brass instruments. They're a drum corps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know that, bro. And so next time, all of y'all out there, when you go watch Ohio State, look at the instrumentation. Ain't no woodwinds out there. That's all brass. And there's no pit on the front sideline. And they're still able to be effective with what they have. So I say all that to say, Derek, man, it ain't necessarily about the instrumentation. It's about the creativity of the person that's in front of the band.
I agree.
You can make a lot of things happen with less. I done seen it with what you doing with your band, and you're arranging at Norfolk. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got to have a visionary. I say it all the time. So, hey, man, people just need to step that creativity game up.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, I was trying to pick out brains, man. So that's all I had for y'all.
All right, bro.
I just want to come in the frame. One of them frat, you might as well pop in. You know, so you find me off. Yeah, this one right here. The best saxophone player I know in the world. He about to go to Japan, Okinawa with the Marines next week.
Oh, congratulations, bro.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Oh, hell, hey.
Yeah.
They don't do that, though. Yeah, you know that.
He's right here. Like,
Catwalk.
Like I said, man, that's all I have for y'all, man. I appreciate the time.
All right, bro.
All right, y'all.
All right, man. Let's get ready to go ahead and wrap it up, man. Rick sleepy. Portia, she's sleepier. Portia, you got to write today for this episode.
You said what now?
I said you wore the right shirt today for this episode.
You know, I just literally washed clothes today and I had folded my t-shirts and this was on top. And I was like, this goes with the show. So I need to wear it.
There you go. See? Look at that. Right on time. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here. My daggone whole audio system was messing up. My daggone camera went hot. I had to change cameras. Good Lord. This is
trash.
Yeah, I was phony today. I was absolutely phony today. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
We have to be the change we wish to see. Promoting female band directors, understanding that knowledge is something we need to hold on to. So find a way to get to the table and listen until it's your time at the table. And just be better for our people. Start with yourself and it'll spread forward.
First of all, this is third time you've been on here and you always have something so profound to say afterwards. Good Lord. Your endings are amazing. Hey, Miss Sanders, I see you. I didn't know you was in here. Hey,
Miss Sanders, we love you too. And you go back and watch this episode because we gave you your flowers on earth right now.
There is no time. First of all, let's be real. There is no time when the name Stephanie Sanders comes up that we are not giving her flowers because she deserves that and more. So let's keep it 100.
True. At some points, Miss Sanders was the only advocate I had at Norfolk State. I'm gonna love that lady forever.
But when you got kicked out,
yeah.
All right, Rick. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
I do, man. I have quite a few, but I promise I'll be fast. First and foremost, speaking of one of those GOAT female band directors, I want to give a shout out to my good friend and the first mentor I ever had as a band director, and that's soon to be Dr. Juliet Boykins at Elizabeth City State University. I met Juliet right after I had graduated from college. She was my first mentor teacher, and I had a chance to meet her son Alan at the time. He was like 4 or 5 years old. And this weekend, I got to grip her son up for the first time. He crossed Omega this week. So I want to give a shout out to both Juliet and my boy Alan for crossing into the world's greatest fraternity. I'm so proud of you, man. And Juliet, I'm proud of you too. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Dr. J. William Nicholas on becoming the new director of bands at Tuskegee with all that band has been through. Like, that's huge, and that brother's talented. I know his work. I don't know him personally, but I've seen his work, and that brother is talented. So congratulations to Dr. Nicholas on taking over Tuskegee. Shout out to FAMU for that Wind Ensemble Festival that they just did on campus and all the high schools that participated.
High schools that was in here?
Yep.
Absolutely, yes.
Shout out to Kevin Day, our frat brother, who is conducting at Carnegie Hall soon. Like he is really taking off, man, his career. Like, I'm so proud of that brother. We talk every now and again. He's a good people. And I'll just give you one album, two things to listen to. There's an new album by, a killing piano player. His name is Quinnell Gaskin. So if you want to hear a good album that has some of everything on it, it's called More to Come by Quinnell Gaskin. And Pusha T just released a new track with Jay-Z and Pharrell, and that joint is fire. So if you haven't heard that track yet, y'all need to go check it out. Miss Sanders, I love you. You know that. And you know what I need from you, because I've asked you for it. I need Vedette and y'all to send that to me, please. But shout out to Norfolk State Spartan Legion, my home, my school, a proud alumnus 2 times over. I love y'all. So support Black.
I do want to say this, that Eric Roberson.
Fire.
Bro, straight water.
Yes, sir. I had to put you on that water. Did you listen to Alex Isaac?
I already knew about Eric Roberson. I just didn't know.
I ain't say you ain't know about. You ain't know about that album. And that
album. I did. That's what I was saying. I didn't know about that album. But main, yes, sir. That album was off the chain.
Did you listen to Alex Isaac?
No, I didn't.
You gotta get on it.
I gotta go back and look at the other shows to remember who you be talking about, because then I gotta, put them on the list. So
yes, sir.
I'm way down that list now, man.
And PJ Morton got a new album coming out too, y'all. That new PJ Morton is coming out at the end of this month, the 28th. It's called Watch the Sun. Go get it. It's 2 tracks out already, and they both fire.
Okay. Yeah, see, Miss Sanders know about that Eric Roberson.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's get ready to get on out of here. But the first thing I need to say is make sure that you pick up all your Talk That Talk merch at passionis.online. You can use the code HBCUBAND and get 30% off your purchase. So make sure you guys go pick that up. On the way out, please make sure you go ahead and click that like button. That is important for you to do. Also, please make sure you continue to subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on your notifications. We got a lot of stuff coming up very soon. I actually want to thank Portia for being on the show. She is family to the show, whether y'all realize it or not. She has been indoctrinated into the new, Passioneers family. So I do want to thank her because, she came in and gave some fire responses today. So she's definitely dope. Portia's super dope, and we love her as family. All right. Other than that, man, that's the last thing that I got, man. I appreciate everybody for joining us. We will see you guys next week.